HMA Fantasy Wrestling brings you the Best of the Decade Dual Tournament, based off of Flo Wrestling Radio Live's recent series on individual athletes. This new project brings together wrestling minds from all over the country to decide which college wrestling team can claim the title of the best team of the decade. Prepare for pandemonium, excitement, and of course, entertainment.
Moran sits corners and a big landmine kind of pops out.
Oh no!
Punches in a cradle, right? Typical Tristan Moran cradle, flips him over, gets the fall.
The rules are simple. Each college team gets to draft an all-star lineup based off of the last 10 years of competition. Once each team is settled, the HMA crew assigns different teams to the sport's greatest minds to vote on each match in the event for the entertaining series. Each host has one landmine to use in a round. Similar to FRL, a landmine can wreck all votes from the community and the other hosts. A landmine is used on an individual match, and it's the only place you can get bonus points for your team. The next episode of HMA Fantasy Wrestling is here. Let's let it roll.
All right, welcome back to the next episode of the HMA Fantasy Wrestling Podcast. This is episode number 4 as far as this all-decade dual tournament is concerned. And for this one, we're going to have a great one. We got the first duel is going to be, I believe, number 4, Oklahoma State, number 13, Wisconsin. And then after that, we are going to have number 5, Cornell, and number 12, Edinboro. And we're really excited because this very first duel, Oklahoma State, Wisconsin, we're starting off with a special guest as always. And this time on the call, we got Mr. Seth Gross. So how you doing, Seth?
I'm doing great, man. Excited. Love what you guys are doing here and excited to be a part of it.
Cool, man. It's really cool that, like, we just kind of thought this up like a week ago and just thought it'd be something fun to do. And to see people actually liking it and voting and getting into it and having like 400 votes on the Twitter poll was crazy. So it's really cool to see that people are actually enjoying something, that we're doing it.
Yeah, it's been super cool, man. I've been following them, and I think it's keeping everybody a little bit entertained during this time. So I think it's an awesome idea.
Yeah, no, but it's been a lot of fun. And let's just real quick before we get into this duel, I guess we'll talk about last episode. I guess what happened. Recapping it real quick, we had Ohio State taking out number 14 Oklahoma in a really good duel. It actually was 18-15, and there was 1 or 2 matches in there that either got landmined or we could have went the other way. So very surprisingly, Oklahoma almost pulling off an upset.
It was close.
And then that was one of the best duels we've had so far for sure.
I think one of the reasons though that Oklahoma was did so well was their seed was low because they had so many transfers, and they got more points because of his whole career, but they didn't get points for seeding because of that. So that was a tough draw for Oklahoma. Yeah,
and I mean, like I said, like several times, the reason this is so cool is because the seeding of the teams is completely different than the actual decade teams in themselves. So these teams got seeded a certain way, but that does not mean that the actual team they're coming in with are, better than the other one. But then at the second duel that we had was number 6 Minnesota and number 11 Illinois. That one was a little bit more lopsided. But Brayton Lee did use his landmine to Gator Bacon Isaiah Martinez. So there is that. But let's go ahead and look at what we're getting into today. So like we said before, number 4 Oklahoma State, number 13 Wisconsin is what we are jumping into right now. And then later on we're going to do Cornell versus Edinboro.
Ooh.
So
Jacob, you're killing it with these graphics, dude. They look really good.
Hey, man, when you're a teacher, all you have to do nowadays is just sit around and grade papers and nothing else. So,
all right, so you got time.
I got lessons and stuff to make, but, I fortunately have a really good team that helps me out.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but, all right, so let's jump into this thing so other people besides me can start talking. But we'll just go ahead and go through. We actually had Mr. Seth Duckworth that sent in the Oklahoma State lineup for us. And I believe Sam did the Wisconsin.
Correct? Did, yep.
Awesome. So I'll just go ahead and show or say who the lineup is for the Cowboys, and then you can tell me about the Badgers in a second. So for Oklahoma State, 125, we have Nick Piccinini, 133, Dayton Fix, 141, Dean Heil, 149, Jordan Oliver, 157, Alex Deringer, 165, Tyler Caldwell, 174, Chris Perry, 184, Nolan Boyd. 197, Preston Weigel. And 285, Jared, is it Rushalt? Does anybody know how to say that correctly? Rushalt?
I would guess it's Rushalt, but I'm not sure.
All right, well, he's a big guy, so I don't want to piss him off. But, Sam, tell us about Wisconsin.
So the Wisconsin lineup I put together, and I think it's a really good one, balancing the early years before Coach Bono and then this last couple years with Coach Bono is cool, going through a couple different coaching decades or periods, I guess. But Oklahoma State stuck with John Smith for the last 35 years. So Wisconsin starting off with Ryan Taylor, and then at 33 we got Seth Gross. 41, Tristan Moran. 49, Kyle Ruschel. 57, Isaac Jordan. 65, Andrew Howe. 74, Ryan Christensen. 84, Travis Rutt or Ricky Robertson. And then 97, you got Trevor Brandvold. And 285, we're going to lean Connor Medbury, but we'll see how Trent Hilger's feeling at the end of the stool.
Wait, who's your starter at 184?
We'll look at that when we get there.
Oh, okay. Keep them guessing.
We brought some backup just in case. We got to look at the matchups.
You got to weigh them both in.
Absolutely. So before we actually get into talking about the first matchup, we got to decide where we start. So Sam had the awesome idea a couple episodes back. The lower seeded team is going to pick which weight we start at. So that'll be Wisconsin this duel. And we got Seth on the call. So Seth, what weight do you think it'd be best for the Badgers to start at?
I think we're going to start right off at 149. It's a good spot to start. Finish up with the lightweights there a little bit. Some fun ones at the end. So let's go 149.
That sounds good to me. So, Sam, 149, who we got?
So on the Wisconsin side, you got Kyle Ruschel. He is the current head coach of University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Super nice guy. Made the Pan Am team at 74 kilograms a couple years ago. So he's a solid 49-pounder. His opponent's really tough. But
Sam, have you ever run into Rochelle in your Tennessee journeys?
I actually got to interview him at the Scuffle this year, which was really, really cool. And he's a really nice guy. Wants me to come to UTC. So, but so he was the team co-captain in 2009, 2010. In his junior year, he was 5-2 at the NCAA championships. Had a bunch of matches there. Lost early and was able to fight back. His senior year, he ended up taking fourth, and again won 4 straight matches to take third. He had some tough runs on the backside of the bracket in his time. So, really tough guy. Pretty sure he's a 4-time NCAA qualifier. Really nice guy too.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. So, on the other side for the Cowboys, we got Jordan Oliver. Arguably one of the better Cowboys ever. Jordan was so much fun to watch in college, and he was a controversial call away from being a 3-time national champ. But in his career, he was a 4-time All-American, 2-time national champ, and 3-time finalist. And then he's had a tremendous amount of success on the senior level over the last, however 7 years it's been since he graduated, 6, 7.
Yeah.
But if you are into wrestling, college, senior level, whatever, and you don't know who Jordan Oliver is, then I don't know what you've been watching.
Yeah, no, not good. Hey, Seth, do you happen to know Kyle at all? Kyle Rochelle?
I don't know Kyle too well, actually. I don't know him too much. I know of him, but yeah, I've never talked to him personally.
Okay, well, hey, let's kick it to you. And who are you going to pick in this matchup?
I mean, I love my Badgers and all, but J.O. is the GOAT here. Hard to choose against him in a match like that. But, I'll go with J.O. for the 149 starting us off here.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm also taking Jordan Oliver here as well. Sam Herring, who do you have?
This one's tough. I mean, not tough, but easy. It's pretty easy looking at Jordan Oliver. It's one of the best college wrestlers of all time. He's got to take this one. And the people said the same thing. I'm going to go through and mark what the Twitter polls had to say with the star.
You're like, this is a tough one. I mean, not a tough one, a very easy one.
I mean, Cal Rochelle was great when he was coming through. He was a really tough guy, but it's just one of those cases where you got Jordan Oliver, who was one of the best to do it. So there's not much to talk about. But if you're bringing up Jordan Oliver's name, and we got Seth on the call, I got to get your view on that call. So in that Logan Stieber final match? Takedown or no?
I think it's a takedown all day. I mean, I thought it was a takedown. I remember watching that one and being like, I was a big Jo fan growing up. Like right when I was getting into college and stuff, I was a big fan, and I was bummed out by that one for sure.
Oh yeah, I definitely thought it was a takedown. And I mean, it sucks to say that because I feel like I'm trying to like take something away from Stieber, which not, but I still, I think it was a takedown. I mean,
it was a good match either way, but
it was awesome.
Left a bad taste in my mouth for sure.
Oh yeah. All right, so we got Jo winning that first round, and we're gonna jump down to 157.
Real quick, guys, I just looked up the Twitter polls. Every single poll had Oklahoma State win.
Oh, jeez.
How insane is that?
Work to do,
including 133.
Jeez.
Mean.
Oh man,
yeah, we're gonna have to go look back who's following you guys. Huh? That's messed up.
I know, right?
Over to the HMA.
This is what we do when we put the polls on Jacob's side, right?
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
We did get Seth Duckworth to retweet it, and he brings in a lot of Oklahoma State fans.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But one thing I want to point out before we move on, because obviously a lot of these guys have been at different weight classes and different schools. We are talking about each of these guys in their career, right? So obviously you wrestled for South Dakota State, right? And so we're not talking about only the Wisconsin Seth Gross. We're talking about the career of each of these guys. Yeah. So I just wanted to point that out because that was something that we, again, didn't point out when Bray was on the show, and it changed his opinion on a couple of them. But 157, let's talk about Alex Derringer versus Isaac Jordan. We've actually seen this match go down, but before we get into that, Sam, who's Isaac Jordan?
Isaac Jordan's actually, we had Ohio State on last time. Isaac Jordan is the cousin of Micah, Rocky, and Bo, and the son of Jim Jordan. And so long line of wrestling family. And he was actually, most of the family ended up going to, like this generation of the family ended up going to OSU, Oklahoma State, or Ohio State, but getting mixed up here. But Isaac and Jim were both Wisconsin, so a little bit of confusing there with the family. But he was a 2016 runner-up, Big Ten champ in 2015 and 2016, and then All-American, obviously, in 2016. Just a solid wrestler, had some tight matches with Imar, who's one of the greatest of all time. He did wrestle Derringer in his career, which did not go his way. But, Jacob, give us the rundown on Derringer.
Yeah. So Derringer is another one, kind of like Jordan Oliver, which he was Derringer was actually a 3-time national champion for the Cowboys. He got third, I believe, as a freshman, and then won. And he wrestled Isaac Jordan a couple times, and I'm not staring at it on my computer in front of me, but I'm like 95% sure that one of them was in the NCAA finals. Is that right?
I think so. I think that was the 2016 finals match. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was Derringer's senior year. But yeah, so obviously it went Derringer's way each of the times. He went 3-1-1.
All-Americans.
There's not a whole lot to say about these. I mean, some of them some of these matches are really close, but some of them kind of is easy to lean one way or the other. And I'm interested to see Derringer moving forward, making the move to the Cliff Keen Wrestling Club. But yeah, so Jude, who you picking?
Dude, it's got to be Alex Derringer. The man won a Hodge Trophy. All right, he's coming up and being gonna look to have a really, really excellent senior level career. But like college, Alex Derringer was a mean man. So I'm gonna take him in this match.
Seth, you're going to get to wrestle with him a little bit more now that he's in your area. I guess Michigan and Wisconsin aren't too close, but a lot closer than Oklahoma State.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I think I'm definitely got to go with Derringer here. I think Isaac's tough, man. He had a great career. He was just always super solid, but Derringer he was unstoppable, man. He was a beast. So I'm going Alex Derringer for that one.
And I'm with you on that one. Just echo what you and Jude said.
Is Isaac around the program anymore over there?
He's coaching at Oklahoma State, I believe.
Yeah, he's coaching somewhere, I know.
Yeah, he's at Oklahoma State September of 2017.
Seth, how involved are the alumni with the program at Wisconsin?
It's doing better. That's a big thing Bono's focusing on right now is just getting them back involved. And we've been doing a ton. Like every match, we try to get a new alumni out there and come to our duels and stuff. We're trying to grow that a lot. I think that that's a big step for us to kind of get to that next level is keep guys around, keep alumni involved, and really just start growing the RTC. But
what's your plan for giving back to the program? What are you going to do personally?
I'm going to be super involved just with RTC, creating relationships with guys, helping guys, stick around. And I'm going to be super involved on that aspect. And I think, fundraising is huge now especially with the new rules that are coming in the next couple of years with, making money off your likeness. So I think that, we got a lot of work to do and a lot of room for growth, but I think we're in a good spot for wrestling. And I think it's going to be good. I think we got a bright future the next couple of years.
I didn't even think about that. How does that feel to you, knowing that they just passed that right after you're done?
I've been hating that rule forever. I'm always like, wow, why do they got that? And then, of course, as soon as I'm graduating, the announcement comes out. But
that's always how it is.
Yeah, happy these guys don't got to deal with it anymore, though.
But now you can finally relate with Coach Schopp when he was mad about the 4-point turning rule that came right after his career. So you can kind of relate with him a little bit more.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on. 165, we're going to have Tyler Caldwell versus Andrew Howe. We have seen this match before also, but I'll go ahead and start off. I'll talk about Tyler Caldwell. So he was 4-time All-American. He was a 2-time finalist. He actually spent his first 2 years in college at Oklahoma and then transferred over to the Cowboys. And like I said, on the Ohio State versus Oklahoma duel, Tyler Caldwell is definitely up there with one of the best guys to never win it. In his 2 finals appearances, he wrestled arguably 2 of the best college wrestlers of all time, and Jordan Burroughs and David Taylor. And so it's kind of a shame that he hit those guys, because he's definitely one of those guys that not a lot of people, unless you've been around the sport for a while, know the name right off the top of your head, but was definitely one of the better guys to come through in the last decade. So that's Tyler Caldwell. Sam, Andrew Howe.
Andrew Howe is really actually very similar in his career. Super successful. Struggled with guys like Kyle Dake and Jordan Burroughs in his career. One of the toughest hand fighters there is. I mean, he took second at NCAA, started NCAAs. He won NCAAs. He's always right at the top of the podium, and just a solid guy. And he didn't just finish in folk style. He stuck around and had a really successful career in freestyle as well. And like Caldwell, he actually spent some time at Oklahoma. And I don't know if they overlapped and were actually teammates at some point. Let's see. He was 2012 to 2014, he was in Oklahoma. And then 2008, 2011, he was Wisconsin. So I'm not really sure if they overlapped. But anyway, he coached at Wisconsin, he coached at OU and then moved to NU at Northwestern. So, been connected to wrestling for a very, very long time.
Yep. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. Seth, what do you got on this one? Do you know either of these guys, first of all?
I know Andrew Howe a little bit. Had to talk to him every once in a while when I've passed him, and I know Reeder knows Howe really well. So they got a pretty good relationship. I do not know Caldwell too well, but yeah, I'm gonna. These 2 are both super solid. They both got similar careers. Both were always at the top of the food chain there, and I'm gonna have to go with Andrew Howe on this one though. I'm gonna go with Andrew. Picking him, just the close one, and now got to give Wisconsin a little bit of something here. Get their first vote on the board here.
I'm gonna follow your lead, dude. I'm gonna take Andrew Howe in this match.
Yeah.
Can Caldwell hang with Howe's hand fighting, you think?
That's what I was wondering, because I know like Caldwell was close with David Taylor until he hand fighted the crap and kind of broke him down.
Yeah.
And just hand fighting him. So I think that's what I was thinking. Howe gets his hands on him, slowly wears him down, wins in the 3rd period type of match.
That's what I'm thinking too. I'm gonna go with Howe, and I just think that Andrew Howe is a terrible style matchup for Tyler Caldwell. And now it's down to Jacob. Well, I guess it's out of your control now.
Yeah, so. Like my vote matters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go differently. It's gonna be Andrew Howe for me too. I was just looking back at the 2011 NCAA championships. Tyler Caldwell actually beat Andrew Howe in the semifinals to make the finals. But if we remember back, that was a pretty banged up Andrew Howe that year.
And then Howe beat him at the 2012 trials, right?
I think so.
But that was freestyle. So, sorry for interrupting you, Jacob.
Oh, it's all good. But yeah, so he actually beat him 2-2. It says 2-2 in tiebreakers. So I guess did they
right out?
They had
go
overtime.
right? Did they go ultimate right out? I guess.
That'd probably make sense, but normally they would add a point for that. I don't know though.
Yeah. Either way, tiebreakers. Caldwell won. But yeah, it's Andrew Howe for me, especially if we're looking at their overall career and the peak of each guy. I think Andrew Howe would win. But cool, 165.
You know what's crazy? Real quick before we go, the Twitter polls had Caldwell winning by 65% out of almost 400 votes.
It's the Oklahoma State homers.
Yeah.
I should retweet every single one of these. Got us some votes out here.
We would keep you posted, dude. All right. Let's move on to 174 and kick it to Sam. Tell us about Ryan Christensen, please.
So Ryan Christensen, he's one of the more recent guys. Do you know him pretty well, Seth?
Yeah. So I was gonna,
Seth, tell the story. You do it, man.
Yeah. I thought he's still around here. He's still helping out with RTC right now, and he did all right. He had a pretty solid career, and I don't know all the stats like Sam could probably fill in after, but he had solid senior season. He did really well. He actually got banged up around Midlands time and was kind of beat up the rest of the year, but ended up making it Big Tens. Ended up wrestling through injury a little bit, and made it to nationals and stuff. I think he was 1-2. I won a match or something there, but great guy. He's still helping out with the RTC. Does a lot of the website stuff, and he's still dealing with some injuries and stuff. But great guy.
So
that's cool.
He's a couple-time Big Ten All-American, 4-time NCAA qualifier. Some stats on him. Had very solid high school career. Won Fargo in 2013, I believe, and solid wrestler.
Yeah, so you said he's still hanging around doing some of the RTC emails and kind of computer work stuff, I guess.
Yeah, so he was actually planning on helping out, training with the RTC and training with our UW guys, but then he actually he re-injured himself and he just couldn't get on the mat too much, so he tried to do what he could, kind of behind the scenes type stuff for us, and he's still been helping out.
Cool. But he's still the tech guy that's beating up on people every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, on the other side, we got Chris Perry. Chris Perry is 2-time national champ. I believe 4-time All-American. I don't have it in front of me. But in the finals, he did beat Matt Brown one year, and he beat Andrew Howe the other year. So beat 2 national champs in the finals. Was a lot of fun to watch. He was definitely a crowd pleaser with the Pistols after he won in the finals. I think that was Oklahoma City, 2013. I can't remember what year, but I was there when he beat Howe in the finals, and that was a really, really cool match. And everybody kind of thought it was going to go the other way. People just didn't really believe that he was going to beat Howe, and he did. But, so that's Chris Perry. Sam, what are you thinking? Which way are you leaning?
This one's not good for the Badgers. Chris Perry is one of the greatest Oklahoma State guys. There is obviously the nephew of John Smith. Great wrestling family dynasty there, with an incredible story. But it's pretty easy going Perry's way. I'm gonna take my vote for Perry.
I'm gonna follow your lead, Sam. Chris Perry, please.
I got to go with Chris Perry too. I mean, I love my boy RC, and he had a good career too. But Chris Perry was at the top of his game, and was one of the best. So
very cool. It's cool that you're actually making the picks that you think. we had Bader on. I don't know if you heard that, but Bader, he had to go early, and before he left, he was just like, "Yeah, every single Tiger is gonna win. Just mark me down for all of Missouri."
I like to keep it real. If there's some guys, that one's a hard to bet against Chris Perry in that one.
Yeah. Just before we go on, random question. I was just thinking: have you wrestled any of the dudes in this duel?
I've wrestled Dean Heil. I think that's it. I've wrestled around with some of the other guys. But
I'm sure you wrestled with Tristan Moran,
yeah,
like in the room and stuff.
A bit. Probably just. I think the only one in the match is Dean Heil. I've rolled around with some of the other guys though.
Was Heil in folk style or freestyle?
Folk style. So I wrestled him my red shirt year, and he beat me like pretty bad, like 8-2. And then I wrestled him in the Big 12 finals my red shirt freshman year, and it was a typical Dean Heil win there, where I almost scored right at the end, but he hung on and won like 3-2 or something.
I was gonna say, like, what was it like? Because when you wrestled him, was that when he was winning his titles?
Yeah,
a couple of years.
Year he wrestled Bryce Meredith in the finals. So actually, I beat Bryce Meredith in the semifinals at Big 12s, and then I wrestled Dean in the finals. Ended up losing, and then I lost in the round of 12 at nationals. But Bryce made it all the way to the finals, and wrestled him there. And so
what an interesting dynamic.
Yeah,
and I mean we're not even there yet, so I probably should wait. But like, what was it like to wrestle him then? Because like you're saying, when you said like the typical Dean Heil match, like that's. Yeah. Every time I watched, it was just like he would get up and just kind of like hang on, and I swear that danger rule was his rule.
Yeah. He just knew how to he knew how to win a wrestling match, and he didn't care, if he was putting up 10 points or 3 points, he was going to make sure to have one more point than the other guy. So it was he was really good, elbow control guy, just solid in all positions, and he was a tough matchup for me. That was when I was still up at 141, so probably a little more chubby than I should have been, but it was fun. And he was a good competitor.
Cool. Well, we'll talk about him a little bit more in a little bit, because I'm getting off track. I'm supposed to be the one actually keeping us on track. But 184, we got Nolan Boyd, and then Sam couldn't make up his mind. So, Sam-wise, what are we doing at 184?
I'm sending out Travis Rutt, and I'll let you know in a little bit why.
All right.
Cool. You go ahead and tell me about your guy Boyd.
Well,
Boyd.
What's up?
All right. Never mind, dude. Never mind.
All right. So Nolan Boyd was actually a 2-time All-American. He did not qualify as a freshman or sophomore. He never took a red shirt. Didn't qualify as a freshman or sophomore, and then he got 4th and 6th. So that's a pretty significant jump from sophomore to junior year, going from, or actually was a national qualifier. For some reason, I'm reading NQ is not qualifier. I don't know. I've had a long day.
What weight did he at those years?
So it looks like he was at 84 his whole career.
Was he? I thought he wrestled up one year. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, just national qualifier all 4 years, 4th and 6th as a junior and senior, respectively. Had some close matches with some guys. Looking down through here, he actually beat Drew Foster 11-7. He got pinned by Bo Nickel, but everybody does.
Yeah.
What's
up?
He beat Gabe Dean one year.
Maybe. I think you're right.
I think that's where he kind of broke on the scene out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think you're right. Here, Sam, tell me about Travis Rutt. I'm gonna make sure, but I'm pretty sure you're right.
So Travis Rutt, I don't know what's with the Wisconsin relationship with OU, but he finished his career at OU, but started at Wisconsin. He was a really, really solid wrestler, 4-time NCAA qualifier, if I believe, 2011 All-American at 184, three-time NCAA qualifier. But of note, in 2014 at the Bedlam duel between Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State, he was ranked number 4 and beat Nolan Boyd, who was unranked, 9-4. So that one would be hard to argue against for you guys.
Okay, please, I don't know if you just said it or not, but Travis Rutt, could you tell me like his accolades? What was he accomplished again? Yeah,
he was 2011 All-American at 184 while at Wisconsin, and he's a 3-time NCAA qualifier, 85 and 39 in his entire career.
Okay, Seth, let's kick it to you, man. What do you think?
And real quick, one big reason why I put on Ricky Robertson was because of his name. That is really, really fun to say, and sounds like it should be in the what is that, Talladega Nights movie? That should still be a name. Ricky Bobby and Ricky Robertson.
Okay.
All right. Real quick before you go, you're right. He beat Gabe Dean 14-9 his junior year.
Oh, That was where he kind of came on the scene right then. Yeah. And then, that's when Dean looked unstoppable, and then he lost there. But then Gabe Dean beat him the next match they wrestled.
Mm.
I remember.
Yeah, well, he has some really good wins. I mean, he was weird, man. He'd lose to some not so good wrestlers and beat some really good ones. And he had an interesting career. I mean, he beat, like Willie Miklas, Hayden Zillmer, Matt McCutcheon, Nathaniel Brown, Drew Foster. I mean, the list goes on and on. He has a hit list, man.
Yeah,
dude. All right. Well, I know who I'm taking. I'm taking Nolan Boyd. Even though he had lost to Travis Rudd. I mean, you have a win over Gabe Dean. Like, holy smokes, man. Dean, who beat Ed Ruth through the transitive property, and Nolan Boyd is better than Ed Ruth.
Transitive. All right. Rudd already beat him, so transitive proper, he beats Ruth, too.
All right, maybe.
You can't get fancy with that after you've already said, I know he lost to him, but transitive property. What
I'm saying best version of Nolan Boyd is beating Gabe Dean. I'm taking Nolan Boyd in this match.
Best version of Travis Rutt is beating Nolan Boyd.
Travis Rutt was probably at his...
man.
I'm
going to go Rutt.
Yeah, I'm going to go Rutt, too. And I mean, Rutt's actually my boy. I know Rutt really, really well, so he coached me growing up. He's my boy. He's a stud. I think at his best, he's taken out Nolan Boyd. I think Nolan Boyd was just too inconsistent, and Travis Rutt, he had his best. He was really... the year he did really well, he was super consistent. So,
so now we got a tiebreaker. Jacob.
Oh, don't do this to me.
Jacob, listen, man. The man beat Gabe Dean. He
Bro,
beat Gabe Dean.
And yet,
look at the most direct thing here is head-to-head matchup. Come on now.
Come on. How can you argue
I know.
that?
No, it's not.
No,
it was 9-4. The dude was unranked, and Travis was ranked 4.
I would give you the argument if it was like a 7-6 match or a 1-point match. 9-4 is pretty demanding there.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
I'm not flipping.
I know you're not.
My thing is, man, I don't know. I mean, looking at Boyd's hit list, it's incredible. I'm sure Rutt does too. Rutt has the win head-to-head, but also we're talking about, basically the peak of each guy, which one would win. I
got to look at Travis now.
Look at the peak. Look at the peak, man.
Yeah,
give Travis a call.
What year did they wrestle?
2014.
Yeah, I'm giving it Rudd all day.
Boyd was like a freshman.
That wasn't his freshman. I think that was his second year.
Sophomore?
Oh, man. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't be swayed, Seth. It's got to be Nolan Boyd.
Hey!
Oh, my God.
Dude, he's got to win over multiple national champions.
I shouldn't have brought up the Gabe Dean thing. Come on
You shouldn't have.
Look, if we're talking about peak, Gabe Dean beat him the next time. Seriously.
Yeah, crushed him.
Okay, but...
How bad did he beat him the second time?
Multiple national champions.
Beat up on him the next time. Gabe Dean just had an off match, man.
It happens.
How do you know? Were you Gabe Dean?
Yeah.
Well, you're claiming he had an off match against Travis Rutt.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not claiming that. All I'm claiming is that peak Nolan Boyd would beat peak Travis Rutt, as evidenced by common opponents.
What was Nolan Boyd's best season? What was his record? Best season?
Well, he got 4th in his best season. His record overall was 112-37.
But what was his record the year he got 4th? You got that up?
You got 33-8.
33-8. Travis Rutt was 34-4 his best season. That's freaking way more consistent. Come on now.
You can't compare the records. Come on, that takes.
Yes, you can. Big 10 versus Big 12. Come on.
That's a way better.
Big 10 versus Big 12. Big 10 versus Big 12. Tougher schedule.
Yeah, you gotta look at the fact. Figure this out here. Because,
oh man, I'm looking at the facts, and I'm not gonna be dissuaded.
Seth, which one is tougher? Big 10 or Big 12?
I've experienced both, man. I've been a part of both, and
which one's tougher?
The Big 10's 1,000 times. Oh man, week in, week out.
Just ridiculous.
It is.
Tell me what Rutt's his record. What it was.
His career record?
Or no, just that his best season.
34-4.
All right, the numbers are on his side. He has an 89% win record.
Oh, good math.
Thank you, sir. And
he didn't do any math. He looked at wrestling stats.
No, I did it on my phone. Look at my calculator. Boyd has an 80% win
telling you, Boyd had some good wins, but he was inconsistent. And if you look at the guys,
Seth, it's not a consistency thing. It is a peak. Even if he peaks for one match,
he was still inconsistent though.
But the inconsistency doesn't matter.
It does.
Saying that a 50-50 guy that's knocked off some national champs and lost a bunch of guys is.
I don't know, man. It's like Tariq Wilson, right? He had one excellent tournament where he went on a huge run, or Kyle Cannell knocking off Colin Moore.
Exactly.
That's their peak, dude.
You count their very best match, like they're going to put together their best match that day.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the rules of the game. I think that's how we're doing it.
Travis Rutt takes him out.
Come on.
Sorry, it happened. He lost. He's got to lose. I'm sorry.
Hey, Seth,
Are you flipping,
you have
Jacob?
a landmine.
No. It's Nolan Boyd, dude.
It's Nolan Boyd.
Okay.
I already got my use ready. I know when I'm using it.
Uh-oh.
Oh man. He's got 20, 30 wins more. And the only thing that is swaying me is
I think didn't Travis Rutt only wrestle 3 seasons though?
He did have a medical season that he had to take off.
Yeah, he only wrestled 3 years, so that ain't. He would have been a 4-time qualifier, 2-time NCAA, possibly All-American too. You don't know.
possibly. But guess who is a 2-time All-American?
Bro, that's
the man who had 4 years. Come on. Come on.
Well, he had 3 years, didn't he?
He wrestled 3 years.
Why are we fighting over Nolan Boyd versus Travis Rutt?
We're fighting because y'all put me in a crappy situation.
Right,
I'm never going last again. Especially when
And seriously, the people with 78% Nolan Boyd, that's annoying.
That's definitely one of the ones that was swayed by recency bias.
Yeah.
For sure. Because some of these are and some of these aren't, but like that.
We need to get the OSU fans off
Who knows?
these Twitter polls.
All right.
Whatever. It happened. It's over. Stop crying, Seth.
Oh, man.
It's the ref's fault. It's the ref's fault.
The ref did not. I thought it was a good call, dude.
Yeah.
You got that takedown right on the edge. That's all.
I'm going to blame that one on
I don't know
Twitter.
if you guys know Travis, bro, but he's freaking jacked and freaking monster was going through him on those double legs.
Okay. All right. Let's keep this sucker moving. All right. It's 197 pounds. It's Preston Weigel and Trevor Brandvold. Let me kick it to you, Sam Herring, or Seth Gross, if you know more about Trevor than Sam does.
Sam, you got this one.
All right. Take it from here, Sam.
Trevor Brandvold is actually coaching at Minnesota right now, I believe. And he coached both places. He coached at Minnesota, but started at Wisconsin. He was an All-American 2011, 4th place, All-American in 2010, 6th place, and he won Big Tens in 2010 and 2011. Really, really solid wrestler, ranked number 2 in the 2011 season, the entire season except 1 week. And, man, he was solid. He took 4th at the NCAAs, like I said. Just really solid wrestler. And, like I said, he's been coaching for a while. He's one of the older guys, and so I think the recency bias swayed the Twitter poll, which had Weigel 90% compared to his 9.8. So, yeah, that's Trevor Brandvold.
Okay, so for Preston Weigel, he actually he redshirted as a freshman. He was around to 12 as a redshirt freshman, then got 6th, and then was a qualifier that did not place, and then got 3rd as a senior. He was definitely a guy that battled a lot. Yeah, killer on top. He battled a lot of injuries throughout his career. That probably had something to do with him not placing as a junior. But even, his senior year, I remember Flo and everybody was talking about how he kind of sat out most of the year and how they thought he wasn't going to come back. He'd probably in a medical red shirt, and come back the next year when he was healthy. But he ended up just, I guess, not wanting to come back for another year. So he just came out of he wasn't redshirting, but he came back to the team, still not fully healthy, and ends up taking 3rd place at NCAAs. Was definitely in the running to make a final. I think he hit did he hit Colin Moore in the semifinals? I believe.
Yes, yes, I think so.
And
he hit somebody in the semis that was really tough.
I think it was Colin Moore, because I'm pretty sure that
was this 2019?
Yeah.
Because Bo had Princeton.
Brucky.
Brucky, yes.
Yeah.
Bo had Brucky in the other semi.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think in his career, he was 71-27 through the 4 years. That's low because each of these years, I mean, he didn't wrestle a whole lot of matches just because he was a guy that was just hurt throughout his entire time there. But even with that, around a 12, a sixth, and a third is pretty good. But
what was Brandvold's record, Sam?
I'll have to look that up again.
No worries.
Trevor Brandvold. What were his All-Americans, Weigels?
Third and sixth, right?
Sixth and third.
Sixth and third? All right. No, not Tyler. Trevor. How did that happen?
Looking back through, he beat Willie Miklas. He beat Pat Bruckey. He actually got
Willie Miklas
majored.
getting beat by everybody.
He got majored by Colin Moore in that semifinal match.
Yeah.
He pinned Christian Brunner, beat Schultz, beat Woodley, Willie Miklas again, Jacob Warner. I mean, he has a bunch of really solid guys on his resume that he beat throughout his.
Yeah, this one's a little more tricky because there isn't much overlap between the two.
Yeah, not at all.
I don't think that they'd have any really common opponents to look at.
At Wisconsin, Brandvold doesn't show his overall record, or at least I can't find his. He took 4th and 6th, though, ranked number 2 that whole season. Peak. He didn't really finish it well both years. He was ranked higher than he was that he finished at the NCAAs. He was ranked 5th in 2011 or 10 when he got 6th, and then he was ranked 2nd when he got 4th. So peak Brandvold was probably mid-season. And this one's tough. I think because they didn't overlap and you don't have much comparison, it's really going to be based off of whatever bias you have, or if you lean to Weigel's top wrestling
so he was 18 into his last year.
Yeah.
And
those two losses came in NCAAs. I'm pretty sure he was undefeated until NCAAs.
I'm going Brandvold.
Seth, I'll go with you. I'm going Trevor Brandvold. We got to show
I'm not going last again, Sam. Hold off.
All right, go for it.
I remember watching Brandvold wrestle, and he was good.
I don't.
It's
like 5.
Again, it might be a little bit of recency bias, but I'm gonna have to go Weigel here. He just was so good on top, and he was.
Oklahoma
State you are an Oklahoma State homer.
I am not, dude. I am not at all. Not at all.
The South's got to stick together, right?
I pick him how I see him. The South, really? Come on. We're really going to get into, like, Civil War conversations over this match?
I'm from the South, and Oklahoma and the Southeast are not very connected at all.
Well, okay, when you live in Pennsylvania, everything below, like, New Jersey is the South, okay?
New Jersey is more north than PA.
I know, but everything below it. So that's how I see the world.
All right, cool. All right, so you got Weigel. You think he turns him? Why do you have Weigel? Just stats? Bias?
Just like Brandvold was really good on bottom. I remember watching a couple of his matches.
He's reversed a bunch of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I just remembering back the matches that I saw him wrestle and Weigel wrestle. I think it's super close, and I could go either way with it. I just think.
But why? Is it bias?
So Weigel wrestled Nate Roeder a lot, actually, and they would go back and forth. He was my South Dakota State teammate. They would go back and forth, and if Weigel does not get a takedown in the first period, he loses the match. And he's not taking Brandvold down in the first period.
No.
Nice.
There we go.
That's my pick.
But Jacob.
Nate Roeder beat him sometimes, and Weigel beat him sometimes. The matches he won, he got an early takedown and rode him the whole first. And if he doesn't do that, there's no chance against Brandvold.
Jacob, why are you taking Weigel then?
Dude, Weigel got third place in NCAAs as a senior while he was hurt. Okay.
So it's based off of stats. You don't have any.
Are you talking about?
No, it's not based off of.
Hypothetically, if he wasn't hurt, you think he would have.
Hypothetically, if he wasn't hurt, I think he could. I mean, he's not going to hang with Bo Nickel, but I think he definitely could have hung with Colin Moore.
He didn't show that when he wasn't hurt the year before.
Yeah, Colin Moore's on another level. That's a no-brainer there. I don't think he would have hung with Colin.
I think y'all know who I'm going with, Trevor Brandvold.
Yeah, let's go.
My Lord. Okay, so
Finally took out the Oklahoma State homer there.
Sam just calls me out for just talking about stats. When I've actually watched Brandvold wrestle, you haven't.
I've watched him wrestle. I just don't remember him wrestling.
You're picking.
I've watched film from him. Their video in 2011.
That's good, as good as not watching him.
Sam, have you picked a match differently from Seth this whole time?
No, I have not.
Okay, that's all I want to point out.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Be your own man.
If that's what you're going with, that.
Okay.
I don't care, man.
Man.
That's silly. It's silly logic.
All right.
Eight lines think alike out here.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well,
maybe
we'll keep going, and
I actually
maybe
don't think it's true, but
look. Here's the deal. I'm sorry. Even if Seth's on here, I'm gonna pick who I think. It's not.
Hey.
I'm not gonna be swayed.
Hey,
So-
you'll be swayed eventually, dude.
This is my opinion.
oh boy.
And
we go.
dude,
This
I
is
got
gonna
an
be heated.
Iowa shirt hanging behind me. I am not an Oklahoma State fan, so just so you know.
All right.
But
All right, we're hanging in there. 12-6. I'm feeling a comeback.
Oh,
I think I have
Actually,
a feeling I know
there's-
where you're going to use your.
there's a pretty
your
good
landmine set.
case for it, actually.
This is a decent match right here. Who we
Yeah.
putting in?
We're putting in Medbury. Trenton Hilger had a tough week of wrestling. You want Hilger?
Hilger's my boy. Man.
Medbury did a lot better in his college career.
How did
Hilger's not
Medbury
quite
do?
finished.
I don't remember. I mean, I remember him, but how did he end up?
So
go ahead.
he's a multiple time All-American, obviously a finalist against Kyle Snyder, and really pushed a bunch of guys. 13-2. Let's see if I can find his overall record. Senior, he was ranked number 2 all year, obviously behind Snyder. A greatest of all time kind of guy. Let's see.
I kind of want it.
22-0 until postseason. Let's see.
Yeah, he was super solid.
Yeah, so his only 2 losses his senior year was Kyle Snyder, and
One of the best heavyweights to do it, right?
he took 7th, 4th, 2nd, I believe.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hilger getting a national title in the next 2 years, but he hasn't shown it yet, so we'll go with Medbury.
Yeah, and I think Hilger could, but since he hasn't finished his college career yet, that's why Jacob went with Tony Nelson over Gable Stevenson a while back for the team.
Okay, look.
Because of
And no, we're not. No, we are not. We're not getting into that fight
Make me
again.
look bad. Okay,
Jacob.
You're trying to make me look bad. Again,
Jacob,
I said.
Jacob, stop.
Over the last decade, I put the guys that were put on my teams were the guys that statistically had the best results, right? Had the best careers.
That's what
Gable, talk about it 2 years down the road, it'll be different.
That's what I just said about Hilger.
Tony Nelson made 3 finals, won 2 of them, and Gable hasn't made a final yet in this decade. So,
I don't know how it's making you look bad. I don't get it.
Jacob,
because you bring it up every chance you get and think that it's a bad thing.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right.
Okay, let's Jacob, please tell us about our man Jared Rochalt, please.
Yeah, so Jared was a 3-time All-American. He was an NCAA runner-up in 2010. I can't find who that was against, but I want to say it was it Zach Ray? Or
It might have been.
I want to say either Zach Ray or McMullen, but I can't remember. I can't find it.
Could have been Rollins.
Could be. But he got 3rd, he got 2nd, and he got 4th. So a 2, 3, and a 4. On
good.
the website, he wrestled from 2005 actually to 2010, so he just barely made it into the decade. But on this, it says he was the heavyweight in Oklahoma State history.
That's crazy.
The winningest,
including Mako.
Apparently.
Holy smokes.
He's a mean-looking dude.
I wonder if they counted Mako's years at Iowa for that. Because it'd be hard to see someone win Mako.
Yeah, but
he did
also
have
went to
5
USC.
years. 5 years of wrestling, which I don't know if Mako had.
Yeah, well, so I'm gonna make my pick first so that everybody can stop getting pissed off at me. But I'm gonna take Connor Medbury in this one.
Anything.
I'm gonna take Connor Medbury, and
Come on, Jacob,
I
you
think,
Wisconsin homer, dude. What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh,
I swear
Sam,
to
lay off,
God.
man.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, I think that statistically, Jared might have a little bit of an advantage here. But I remember Medbury wrestling, and first of all, the dude was giant.
He was huge.
Could move.
He still is.
I mean, the guy that's standing, was John. Okay, whatever. You don't know. You don't know. Joe Thomas was a tackle for the Cleveland Browns, and now he's like 170 pounds and jacked. Who knows? But Medbury was so good, and the only guy standing in his way of being a national champ was Kyle Snyder. I remember him, and he was really good. I don't really remember Jared. All I can do is look at stats, but I'm definitely going Medbury here.
All right, I'll go second. And I'm with you. I probably a little bit of recency bias for Medbury. I got to be honest, I've never watched a single match from Rochelle, never heard of him before this. So it's hard for me to pick against somebody who I know and the other person I do not. Especially, like, Connor Medbury lost to Kyle Snyder. Those were his only losses in his senior year. Connor Medbury is incredible. So I'm going to go with him.
Give me Jared Rochelle, dude. Give me Rochelle.
Give me Medbury for the dub.
All right.
No matter what I say.
Why did you say that?
Dude, three-time All-American. That's tough. He did the dang thing.
Yeah.
I
was just wondering if there's.
He's the winningest heavyweight at Oklahoma State. The winning.
Wow. So a paragraph on the Oklahoma State website swayed you there.
Yeah.
You don't know who wrote it?
It could be Rochelle himself. That's actually what I thought about when I saw it. I was like, I bet he wrote this.
12-9. 12-9, guys.
12-9. Wisconsin with the comeback. Hey, pretty big, bro.
All right.
Okay. 125 pounds, not kilowatts. Nick Piccinini and Ryan Taylor. Let's kick it to Sam Herring. Who do you have?
Well, let's first talk about Ryan Taylor. So senior year, he got hurt and was not granted a medical red shirt. Didn't really wrestle. I don't know why he didn't get that, but he was a 2015 All-American, 3-time NCAA qualifier. And, I think it's wise to mention he got the 2016 Team Courage Award. So that's pretty cool. He wrestled only 3 years, qualified all 3 years. He was an All-American 2015, like I said, and then at NCAA's his final year, junior year, but his final year, he went 3-2. So I think that was a much tougher bracket in 2016 than 2015 when he got 7th. It's hard to say that Nick Piccinini is not the better wrestler here, but I'll give that to Jacob.
And a little filling on, I know Ryan a little bit, and he's still around the area a little bit. But, yeah, he dealt with a ton of injuries. Like, I talked to this dude, and it sounds like he's had, 7, 8, 9, surgeries, on his back, on his hip, on everything. So that was kind of, I think he had a ton of potential. He was unstoppable in high school, and
he was good in high school,
he was unreal and kind of plagued by injuries in college, and still did really well on top of that.
Yeah, he had wins over Jordan Conaway and real tough kid.
He was at St. Paris Graham, right, in high school?
Yep.
Did he hook you up with a good chiropractor?
What's that?
Did he hook you up with a good chiropractor in Madison?
I should talk to him about that. But yeah, he actually had the same surgery. So the same surgery I had last year, he had 3-4 years ago. So I chatted with him a bit about that. But yeah, he's been dealing with a lot of injuries.
Yeah, so on the other side, we got Nick Piccinini, the man that told Thomas Gilman, see you at the Nationals. I don't know if he really meant that. But Nick was a 3-time All-American, a round of 12 as a sophomore. He had a great career. We've all watched him over the last couple of years. He was 129-21 in his career. And I think, his 2 All-Americans, I said he placed 4th and 5th. So I think he kind of underperformed at the NCAA tournaments. But part of that was definitely you can contribute to the guys that were in those weight classes, right? But the one thing that stands out about Piccinini when you think about him is the pen over Spencer Lee. So take that however you want to take it. But
and one thing I think to put at least into consideration here is I think that in the past 4 or 5 years, 125 has really been, there's a really top tier, and then after that, it dropped off. Whereas you look back 6, 7, 8 years ago, the depth was unreal. You had Megaludis, Gilman. You had from top to bottom, freaking just studs like the top 8. You know,
now, I would argue that the top of 25 with Spencer Lee, I think he would beat the top guys from that time, but then 5th place, the time before, would absolutely destroy the 5th place, who was, I think, like Pat Glory, Vito Arugel, that kind of.
Yep. So this one's honestly really up in the air to me right now. I got to think on this.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump out and say Nick Piccinini. His top wrestling's incredible. I mean, he's so slick. His elbow control, like most Oklahoma State guys. I think he's a perfect, like, Oklahoma State guy, like exactly John Smith built. Grew up in Oklahoma, or I guess he went to Blair, so he was a New Jersey guy. Came down to Oklahoma State. I'm gonna go with him for this match, and I'll wait for you guys' picks.
Something else to throw in there about him: he was a 4-time Big 12 champion. I know Seth doesn't care about that. He doesn't think it's very hard, but but he was a 4-time Big 12 champ, and there's something to say about being a 4-time anything. Yeah. So this one, I remember. What's up?
I'd say I think I'm gonna go Piccinini. It's hard. I think it's hard because the weight classes were so much different, but he was solid, and he was always beating, you know, who he should beat, and probably losing to the guys you'd think he'd lose to. So he was just solid, I think. So I'm gonna go Piccinini.
I don't know. Peak pitch, he pinned Spencer Lee, dude. That's just really hard for me to get out of my mind.
You do love your big wins, don't you?
Well, that's kind of like the peak thing, dude.
It's true.
So as good as Ryan Taylor is,
I would argue that was very, very far from peak Spencer Lee too.
And to be fair, Spencer always got in that position. Like, he always gets in that position when they get in on that single leg, and he puts his head down. He's right there. I think Pitch was just the first.
Comfortable there.
Pitch was just the only dude that had the stones to go for it.
It paid off, right?
Yeah. Which, I mean, it was exciting, but
that dual meet was so good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, hey, I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but I was at a Penn State dual meet at the time. I was in Rec Hall, and the people in front of me had the Oklahoma-Iowa match pulled up on their phone while they're at the Penn State match. It was pretty funny to see, actually.
Did you not?
No, I didn't, because I was watching the Penn State wrestling. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, for me, it's Pitch here, too. I remember Ryan Taylor wrestling, and he was definitely one of the better guys. But I think they line up, you know, the best version of each guy lines up, and I think Pitch wins.
Yeah, I think the top game's a big factor.
Yeah.
Guys, listen to the Twitter poll for this. We're all talking about how close this match would be. 94.9% Nick Piccinini. 5.1% Ryan Taylor.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so what's the Twitter poll say for 133, Sam?
It's not good.
That one crushed too.
74% Dayton Fix.
That's so. That's ridiculous.
I got at least a little bit more fans than some of the others.
You got more.
Wow.
Other than Andrew Howe, you got the most. How crazy. Andrew Howe got 34%, and he got the most out of all the Wisconsin guys.
We ain't getting any love right now, but that's all right.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we want to approach this? Do we want Seth to talk about himself, or do we want to talk about Seth, or whatever's comfortable for you, man?
I think obviously Seth can make his pick if he wants, or if he doesn't want, that's up to him. But I think the coolest way to start it off is Seth, how do you see the match going here? Like, what do you think about it?
Yeah, so obviously
this match was supposed to happen.
Let's run down the stats a little bit, and then I'll kind of tell you how I think it'll play out.
All right. So one thing is, though, Dayton Fix has only had 1 year of college. Mm-hmm. You've had 6 or 7, 8, getting an AARP card in college. But let's see. For you, just run through some stats. You got first team All-American this year, Big Ten third place, and then Big Ten Wrestler of the Week this year. You won Midlands, NCAA champ in 2018, NCAA runner-up in 2017, Big 12 champ in 2 years, other than that one you lost to Dean Heil. So yeah, that's some quick stats for Seth Gross.
Yeah.
Favorite place to eat on campus is Chipotle or the Bistro?
Cool. So Dayton Fix, we've only got to see him in one college season, and in that season he made it to the finals and lost on a controversial headgear pull, not headgear pull, whatever you think.
It was a headgear pull. That's not the controversy.
So I definitely am a big Soriano fan. I was pulling for him, but that was a headgear pull, like, all day. But either way, Fix made the final in his only year that he has wrestled in college. He only has 2 collegiate losses. One of them is via that headgear pull, and the other one is to Mickey Philippi. But he's been solid throughout his 1 year we've seen him. I think it's kind of crazy if you ask me, especially if, I don't know, Seth, have you heard, like, the guys that took Olympic red shirts this year, do they have the option of taking it again?
That's exactly what I've been wondering. They haven't announced anything yet, but I don't know how. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know what they're going to do.
Because what I'm thinking about is I don't, who knows who would take it, who wouldn't for a second year. But let's say they gave him, if they could take it again. If Dayton Fix took it again, I want you guys to realize that in his second season in college that we actually watch him wrestle for the Cowboys, he will have already graduated from Oklahoma State. So, dude took a red shirt, wrestled a year,
hurt, take a medical.
Red shirt. Yeah, so, either way, if he comes back.
What if he took 3 Olympic red shirts? Because he could in 2024,
Mitchik already took 2 Olympic red shirts.
Yeah. So either way, even if he doesn't, if he comes back next year, he'll be a senior wrestling his sophomore season, which is wild to think. Yeah.
That's wild.
But there it is. He doesn't have a whole lot of stats. He's only wrestled 1 year.
Seth, so you've obviously, you've had to have thought about this matchup, right? Dayton's, at least in freestyle. So, walk us through this, dude. Tell us what you think about it.
Obviously he's had a limited folk style career, but, freestyle is a different game and stuff. But, I'd say his strength is obviously on his feet. You don't see he can ride some guys if he gets that leg in, but, I obviously know that's coming. I know, I just ain't going to let him throw that leg in or whatever. But so I think that, it's going to come down to, he's going to have to get multiple takedowns if he wants to beat me. He's going to have to score a lot of points there because I'm going to ride him. I'm going to freaking get away. So I'm going to do something on top or something. But I don't know. I think that it's going to come down to he's going to have to take me down 2, 3, 4 times if he wants to win the match because and we've wrestled out at the OTC. We've rolled around and stuff, and we're pretty even on our feet. I'd say pretty close to 50-50. He got a takedown. I got a takedown. Kind of went back and forth. Granted, that's freestyle, right? Different scenario there. But I don't know. And then the thing that I think, looking at, a guy that he's faced somewhat similar is, Mickey Philippi, right? Me and him are pretty lengthy guys. Me and him roll around a little bit. And
Mickey rode him.
Mickey Philippi rode him out to win the match. Yeah. And, I think Philippi's a really good wrestler, but I think I do some of the things he does just a little bit better than that. And that's one match that I think I can directly look at and say, hey, I think I got this dude. But, I was looking forward to, it was actually, so I don't know, you guys remember, I was supposed to wrestle him at the South Dakota State, Oklahoma State deal, and it was blowing up like the match was going. And I actually was going to go out there and wrestle. I was barely, I hadn't practiced, I hadn't done anything. And I was trying to convince the coaches, hey, I need to get out there. I'm fine. And even though I hadn't done much, and they ended up pulling the plug on that. But I was ready for it. And, he's one guy going to end up wrestling at 57 kilograms at some point in time. But
yeah,
I think the other thing you got to look at is just body of work here too. And I don't know. I ain't going to try to persuade you guys too much here, but I don't know. I think it'd be a fun match, and hopefully it happens in freestyle.
Do you want to vote for yourself? Is that
Absolutely.
something? Or do you want to? Okay. Right. We got to vote for Seth Gross.
There's a duel to win here, Sam. He's got to vote for himself. All right. Well, I'll follow suit. I'm voting Seth Gross. Seth, you can close your ears. All right. Just cover them. It's because peak Seth Gross was tilting guys like crazy. He was getting tech falls, right? He was so dominant on top. All right. I'm taking Seth Gross here in this match.
Jacob.
Man, It's honestly, it's not a hard one for me. It's definitely going to be Seth here. And I'm not saying that because he's sitting here staring at me and he's kind of scary. No, it's Seth. When we've seen Dayton wrestle the big matches, with Soriano and with some other guys, it's kind of, even DeSanto, it was kind of like feeling each other out, and like there was few points scored. And the match with Seth would not be that way. Again, not saying stuff because he's sitting here, but I love the style that Seth wrestles, just because it's so much fun. He goes out there and just goes for it the whole time, and there's not like a waiting around and see what happens.
Maybe we should ask
and
Soriano. Who do you think, Seth? Who do you think Soriano would say if I asked Soriano, Seth Gross or Dayton Fix? Who do you think he would say? Do you have any idea?
I think he'd pick me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
a little bit. I talked to him a little bit here and there. He's a good dude, but yeah, I don't know. That'd be an interesting question to ask him.
Yeah, I just think obviously, both you guys are really high level, and Dayton's high level scrambler as well. But I think that the style that you wrestle kind of clashes with him in folk style, right? I don't know. I haven't even thought about it in freestyle, and I hope we get to see it.
Yeah, freestyle, I don't know. It's hard. Statistic-wise, right now, freestyle, you got to probably go Fix making a world team. But folk style, I think, leans in my favor for sure.
Yeah, and I think the point that you brought up that I didn't even think about was Mickey Philippi riding him out. And obviously, I think we all can agree that we think that you're going to be a little bit tougher on the top. So I definitely – I'm going with Seth, and it's honestly not hard.
Oh, man.
All right, guys. I'm gonna leave Seth for the last one for 141.
Yeah, I kind of picked this one because these two are teammates. Obviously, Tristan came from Oklahoma State. These got to roll around a bunch, so I thought it'd be a cool match to end on here.
Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling that Dean Heil might have to watch where he steps.
Uh oh. Can I say, before we get into the matchup real quick, when we posted the polls for this matchup here, Tristan replied to the tweet and said that Dean Heil don't want the smoke. And so we asked him, dude, we were like, Tristan, you want to come on and plead your case? And he said he did not want to, but that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, because they're super familiar with each other. They know each other obviously really well and stuff. So
right.
Yeah, I think this would be a really fun match to watch too, though. Most people are going to, rightfully so, favor Heil because he was a two-time champ. But I think this is another kind of the styles would be fun to watch.
Hey,
man.
What rule set are we going under? Current one? Because then Dean Heil would give up so many danger points.
It would not be close.
Yeah, are we doing the struggling senior year rules where he didn't have his best season? Or
I think we're talking about right now. If these guys wrestle now. So,
man.
But yeah, I'll talk about Tristan a little bit since I obviously was my teammate this year. But
okay, Tristan or Seth, on your athlete profile on the Wisconsin athletes website, you had a bunch of fun fact things like where I got your restaurant. How come Tristan Moran doesn't have that? Because I would love to hear some funny stuff.
Oh, that's a good question. I think that
I'm sure he's got a bunch of stuff like that.
He's a funny dude. He's an interesting guy. Yeah, you guys got to get him on sometime. I'm sure he's got stories for days. That's one thing that guy can do is tell some stories.
Yeah. Oh, dibs. I'll get him on. I call dibs.
I'll tell him that to get on here. But so Tristan, obviously, so kind of when he was at Oklahoma State, they were kind of throwing him in as kind of a utility guy, and he was wrestling all the way up at 57, wrestling all over the place, and that's kind of one of the reasons he ended up leaving Oklahoma State, because he actually, I don't want to give too much of what he told me and stuff, but basically he said that, it wasn't always a fair shot at their chance of the spot and stuff, so they were kind of moving him around and throwing him in certain spots, and I guess the year he ended up wrestling 57 at Big 12, they kind of just threw him in there last minute, told me he had to bulk up, go 57. And anyway, so then he came to Wisconsin and got down to 41, which is probably a way better weight class for him. And, he's a guy who could beat he's beaten Nick Lee, he's beaten Mitch McKee, he's beaten Chad Redd. He's beaten everybody. He's also, probably lost to those same guys. So he's I will say he's a guy that gets, he has a very unique feel, a different style where, if you're not necessarily familiar with it, you got to be careful of, some of the stuff he does. But
Which Dean Heil is.
Yeah.
Very
So interesting.
Yeah.
But so he ended up. Yeah, obviously we didn't get to wrestle nationals this year. He was probably, I forget if he was an 8 or 9 seed, but something like that. He had a pretty good season, and so yeah, that's a little bit about Tristan.
One thing I will definitely give Tristan in this matchup is that Tristan can wear his headgear correctly. I don't know if you guys remember, but Dean Heil, man, in every match, it just seemed like he was always just pushing it out of his face.
Yeah.
Didn't Tristan have like a different kind of head? Didn't he wear tornado?
Yeah.
Headgear?
He does.
I will say that's one of my biggest pet peeves is like, especially there's kids on my team who the headgear just like keeps slipping down over their eyes and they have to like pull it up while they're wrestling. Like, dude, you wrestle in it every day in the practice room.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know.
Oh, that's one of Bono's big pet peeves. He'll tell you to leave practice until you can figure your headgear out.
Right.
All right, so let's get into it. We'll leave Seth for last in case he does whatever he wants to do. But I guess I'll just start it off 141. I would love to see this match. I think it'd be really fun to watch, and I think it's cool that it has happened in practice all the time, or several times.
I looked it up, and they wrestled in like 2016. I'm pretty sure, right?
Did they?
Let me see. Dean. Bear with me a second. Yeah, he lost to Dean Heil 5-2 at the USA Oklahoma Outlaw Open in 2017. He was I believe he was a redshirt freshman at the time. Yes.
17, yeah, redshirt freshman.
And that was while he was still at Oklahoma State.
Like, both of those guys have improved so much since then.
Yeah.
It's interesting. He was number 1 at the time. Heil was. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, continue.
Yeah, that was probably Dean's. Yeah. 2017 was probably Dean's best year, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
The Twitter poll says 93.8% Dean Heil.
Ugh.
Yeah, and I absolutely hate to do it because I just feel like he was really boring to watch, but I'd have to pick Dean Heil in the match.
Knows how to win matches, bro.
I think I'm not at all saying that it couldn't go the other way because I definitely think Moran could win, especially with that crazy style he has. Mm-hmm. It'd be really fun to watch, and especially with the danger rules. But God almighty, man, he always seemed to pull it out, and it irritated me because I was always pulling for the other guy.
Chad Red's wrestled both of these guys way too many times to be.
I think, yeah, but and also with even more of the cloud on the situation is Dean Heil's senior season. How it ended up at nationals. It's like, oh man, I don't. But he's a 2-time champ, and Tristan Moran has had some really big wins, and he hasn't been inconsistent. He's beat the guys he needed to beat, but like with the bigger guys, he's like kind of sporadically beat some of them. Like he'll beat Nick Lee, and then like he'll lose to another one, and he'll beat this guy. So I gotta go Dean Heil, even though I hate it.
I think I'm gonna go with you, even though I can't get the match out of my mind. Where in Rec Hall, in like whatever triple overtime, Moran beats Lee, which I remember watching that, and I'm as big of a Nick Lee fan as anyone. I'll admit it, but like just being like the respect for Moran, not being fazed by this crazy crowd, and going out and getting the match done, especially against someone as good as Lee, made me a pretty big Tristan Moran fan. But I'm going to still have to pick Dean Heil here. Dean is 2-time champ. We're picking.
You've got Heil.
I've got Heil.
Did you change?
No, I'm just saying why I think Tristan Moran's an awesome.
I mean, like, did you, like, earlier, did you think Moran would win? Because somebody put in the doc their pick was Moran.
That might have been an accident. I'm sorry. I do see now. Yes, that was me. But I'm going to take Dean Heil in this match.
Hey, so real quick update on the question we had earlier about the Olympic red shirt stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Yanni, who are in the Ivy League and took an Olympic red shirt, can do it again. Oh. But it's not really a red shirt because Ivy League rules are different. So he said at Cornell I can take up to 3 more years of school off as Olympic red shirts because I'm taking a leave of absence, not a true red shirt, because the Ivy League doesn't allow you to do that. And then he said, anyone can do what I did regardless of what school you go to, but when you do what I do, you don't go to the school for the entire year, whereas an Olympic red shirt at a Big Ten school allows you to stay enrolled.
That's interesting.
Yeah. He said he can take 3 more years off of school.
That's wild. We're going to have 30-year-old Yanni.
Yeah.
All right, Sam.
I'm sure he wants to get into I've got Heil too. Two-time national champ is hard to argue against, but there's a very clear path to victory for Tristan Moran.
All right, does that leave it to me?
It's all up to you, my man.
All right, so obviously I think it'd be a good match, right? Dean Heil pulls things out. But this is kind of how I see it playing out. Dean Heil's working his kind of double under heres. He hits a little high crotch right there, right? And Moran sits corners and a big landmine kind of pops out.
Oh, no!
Punches in a cradle, right? Typical Tristan Moran cradle. Flips him over. Gets the fall. That's kind of.
Oh, my gosh!
That's
Guys,
how I
wait, is this the first upset of?
Yep.
Just like that.
Wisconsin wins the duel.
18-15.
Dude, and Seth you are a masterful planner, man. You're like, I'm gonna start at 149 and I'm gonna end.
You don't think I was up all night getting ready for this, man?
I know.
Man. The preparation is unreal. When you said that, I was like, why? Like, why don't you end at 33? You know, why would you? I
thought he might have.
Hey,
when Sam
time after weighing, so he was ready for this too. Oh, I had it planned out, man.
You also had some good time off the scale too for 33.
Yep.
How heavy do you think you would get up for this match?
Honestly, in all honesty, I don't get very big. I'll probably get 138 by the time I wrestle at most. Like right now, I weigh 139, 140 in the mornings.
Oh, but then what about after you make 57 kg?
Ooh, that's a different.
That's a different story.
I'll be weighing. I think I weighed myself before I wrestled Tomasello that night in the finals, and I was back up to like 134, 135. So.
Oh man, how big? I mean, I don't know, but like, how big do guys usually get after they weigh in, especially at that weight class?
Like college?
No, I'm talking about not dual. I'm talking about on the freestyle scene. Like, who cuts the weight and how big do they usually get?
I mean, that was a one-day thing, so I could get a little bigger. It's kind of tricky now. I think on the second day, I think some of those guys are getting 12, 15 pounds. Like, I know if Tristan had the chance, like, if he knew it was his last weigh-in, he would weigh 12 pounds over that same day easily.
Oh.
He hit up to almost 180 pounds after season.
What? How tall is he? Shorter
than me. He's like 5'7".
Oh my gosh.
You don't want to see the pictures of when he was that big.
Oh man.
How he did it. It takes work to put on that much weight.
Guys, Twitter is going to completely unfollow us.
It's over.
Oh, it's Twitter Badger fans your way.
Oh my gosh. This is the biggest upset of so far. Wow.
That is insane. I mean,
I literally
okay, so you can even ask Sam and Jude. Was it last night or the night before? I even texted him and I was looking at the lineups and I was like, guys, do we really want to bring Seth on? Like, I don't want to bring him on, and then we all pick, the other way. And so, wow, it's cool that it shook out this way. Because wow, that was cool. That was really fun.
That was. I had a blast being on, and had fun game planning for this one.
Yeah.
You need to talk to Coach Bono. He should hire you after this.
Yeah, get on staff.
Strategy level is insane.
Hey, before you go, Seth, I have just one more quick question. Actually, back to the freestyle thing. How big do you think Nashon gets after weigh-ins? He cuts a lot.
Big, dude. He was struggling at the Bill Farrell to make weights. I'm sure he got really big afterwards. I mean, he was a big. I know when I wrestled him at 61 kilograms, he was huge there. So I mean, I gotta assume he's one of the heavier ones. He's probably at least 135 or something.
How funny was it when he gave Suriano his single?
Oh my god! Nashon's the nicest dude ever, and obviously he was gonna do that. I just felt so bad when he bled all over this singlet.
He kept doing this too.
Completely destroyed it. I was like, and then he lost the match. I was like, now Suriano's gonna bring you back a sweaty, bloody singlet that you bought. Like, oh man,
just keep it.
That was crazy. I don't know how Suriano only showed up with one singlet for that.
Yeah.
How do you? I just don't get how that happens. How do you know you're wrestling a freestyle event, and then it's just, oh man, that's actually really funny. Okay.
How's Scrap Life going? You just signed with them recently. How's that process going? I saw you get some new merch out.
Yeah, it's going all right. Yeah, it's doing all right so far, and yeah, working on some website stuff and some like my own collection and things. But yeah, hopefully more stuff coming soon.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, yeah, I guess you weren't gonna plan on. Did you ever consider taking an Olympic red shirt this year?
I didn't qualify for one since I was out that entire season the previous
really?
year. I mean, I probably could have swung to some way to qualify, but I don't know. Either way, I don't think – for me personally, I'm my best when I'm in, tip-top shape, and I'd rather go through a college season and then go into that versus it's hard to train like these senior-level guys do. It's much more spotty. You only compete every now and then, and it's just hard to – stay, I don't know. I like going through that whole grind of the season. As long as you don't wear yourself out, I think it's the perfect thing to do before making a run. So.
Yeah. So what are you going to do is, like, now that you're graduated, you're going to try to stay involved with the college program, try to go through that training as much as you can? Yeah,
definitely. I'll be at being a part of the Wisconsin RTC. That's what I'll compete under. And, yeah, I'll just be doing everything the college guys do and all of their preseason stuff, all their workouts, obviously. There'll be some things that, if I got to travel and get some training in and stuff. But for the most part, I'll be right in Madison getting ready.
How much is Ben Askren there?
He probably comes, I think, during like the middle of the season, early season, preseason stuff, probably a couple times a week, once or twice a week comes in. And, yeah, it's nice because obviously Bono and Reeder are like complete opposites of Askren, where Bono and Reeder are just like work you until you're about to fall over dead. And then Askren's much more of methodical, scrambling, positional stuff. And his workouts aren't very, his practices aren't very hard at all, but you really get that exact opposite side of, that stuff Bono and Reeder do. So I think it's really, it's a really good combination, and I think it's really beneficial for the guys.
How much do you specifically roll with Askren?
I love rolling around with him. When he was coming in quite a bit, I'd probably roll with him at least a little bit each time he was there and stuff. And, yeah, I love it because he obviously knows what he's doing in those scramble positions without using weight at all and stuff. So it's super fun to get around and feel like all the interesting things, and like you feel a lot of things that you've never felt before. Like, what on earth did this dude just do to me? He hit me in about 87 Granby rolls and cradles, but it was fun.
We're getting McDonough on next week or
spoilers.
Friday. Yeah, we're getting McDonough on to talk about. So last week we did Arizona State versus Iowa in the same thing, and we had Spencer Lee versus Anthony Robles, and so we're gonna have McDonough on to talk about that a little bit, and then the Iowa duel.
Well, who do you think would win, Seth? Who are you taking in that?
Spencer Lee or Robles?
Yeah.
It's so hard, dude. Robles was like unreal strong for the weight, like unreal. Like I don't know, like I don't even know how somebody approaches, And I don't think Spencer's a huge 25-pounder, so that's a really good match. I wish that's one I would pay to see any day of the week. I don't know if I could pick there. I wouldn't.
Dude, it's hard. It's really, really hard.
Because, I don't know. Robles was just a freak, man. I remember watching what he did to McDonough, and it's just like, wow.
Okay. Jacob, I'm sorry. I cut you off there. What do you got?
All right, guys. So, yeah, we could talk about this stuff for forever. I mean, we could talk to you forever about wrestling, Seth. But we actually have to go ahead and get the next guest on the call for the next duel. We got Cornell and Edinboro coming up in just a second. So we're going to take a break and switch over our guests, and then we'll be right back for that duel. But thank you very much, Seth. We really appreciated it. I know I appreciated all the playful banter back and forth and picking against your Badgers a couple times. But thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I had a blast, and whenever I love chatting wrestling and talking to you guys. So thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. All right, guys, welcome back to the second half of this episode. We just the Oklahoma State-Wisconsin duel, where Wisconsin actually took out number 4 Oklahoma State with the help of Seth Gross. Really fun one, but we're jumping into the next one. We're going to our last match in the round of 16. It is going to be number 5 Cornell versus number 12 Edinboro. And for this segment, or for this duel, we're lucky to be joined by Sean Russell. How you doing, Sean?
I'm good.
Awesome.
You in Georgia right now, Sean?
Yes, I'm in Georgia currently.
Sean, how is quarantine affecting your life right now?
It's been tough, man. It's been tough. Guidelines tough, but since I've gotten home, my family, we've kind of moved out into kind of a secluded part of Georgia. And there's a couple places with some gyms, not public gyms, but some people who have mats, and I've been able to train with my little brother and stuff. So it's been good.
You back with Arturo at all?
He's not open at the moment.
He's not.
Yep. He is not open at the moment.
Cool. So where are you training right now, without quarantine going on? If it was just normal everyday life training for, Olympics and world teams and all that kind of stuff, where do you train at?
I'm at Minnesota with the Storm. So that's where I would be, if this wasn't all going on. And, I miss those guys. I hope to get back in that room soon. I mean, it's a great room for me and just a great environment. So the quicker we can get back in there, the better for me.
Cool.
What about you, Sam? You've been training?
Yeah, I have. Doing a lot of – so I'm working with Young Guns, their virtual training, and Jude's doing the M2. And then I was actually in Pennsylvania about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, training. I was there for 2 weeks. So, to be honest,
nice.
My training's gone up because of this.
That's awesome, man.
Time and stuff to train on my own.
That's awesome. You're going to have a big jump on a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people are sitting on the couch right now, and it's a good opportunity to get a leg up on some people.
That's what I'm shooting for.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get in and start talking about this. So we have, like I said, again, number 5 Cornell, number 12 Edinboro. That's how the seeding shook out, just based off of placements over the last decade. And we actually had Sam make our Cornell lineup. And Jude helped out making our Edinboro lineup. And, of course, we've got Sean, who knows a lot about the Edinboro guys. But, Sam, you want to start off and tell us who's in the lineup for Cornell?
Yeah, for sure. So running through this lineup, I actually made a good bit of mistakes going through, missing some guys and not reading the right stats. But we have an updated version from what we put out in the poll. And we've got at 125, Troy Nickerson, 33, Nashawn Garrett, 41, Yanni Diakomahalis, Chris Villalonga, Brian Realbuto, Kyle Dake, Mac Lunas, Gabe Dean, Cam Samaz, and Jeremy Sweeney at heavyweight. So I think it's a really solid lineup. And Cornell got cheated out of their seed. What did they have at first when they switched with
like 4 seed, right?
Okay. No, so originally I had him at the 3 because when I went through and did the seeding, I took, since we were counting 2010 since we didn't have NCAAs this year, and since 2010 there was 3 teams that had been in the top 10 every single year, and Cornell was the 3rd one. But I couldn't. Right below it, 9 years of placement was Ohio State and Oklahoma State, and I had to bump Ohio State up to 3 because Ohio State had a national championship. I mean, I can't put them below Cornell if they won a title. And then most of Cornell's top 10 finishes were in that 5 to 10 range, whereas Oklahoma State had like 3 2s and 2 3s or something.
Oklahoma
so they ended up
their seed.
They did not perform to their seed. They got taken out by the bad. But yeah, it is what it is, man. This is the fun of this.
Exciting stuff, actually.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So Jude, who we got on the other side? Who we got for Edinboro?
So coming in at number 12, Edinboro Fighting Scots. We got 125, our very own Sean Russell, 133, AJ Shop, followed by Mitchell Port, David Habit, Johnny Greisheimer. Is that right? Am I saying that right?
Gresheimer, I think.
Gresheimer. All right. Gerard King, Phil Morcone, Vic Avery, Chris Honeycutt, and Ernest James at 285. And that, I believe that's our lineup. It was actually a little difficult. Some of those guys, like I had to go pretty far back to fill this lineup. But it's interesting. The more you know, right?
For sure.
Well, that's the kind of another one of the cool things that I've found in this first round is that you set the parameters from 2010 to 2020, and that includes like if you wrestled in 2010. So you could have been like a 6-year senior wrestling in 2010. So some of these dudes wrestled in like 2005, 2006 at one point in their career, which is insane. Right. But yeah, like for example, I went back and looked at Jared King's resume, and I think his freshman year was like 2005 or 2006, somewhere in there.
Right.
And so it was crazy, but he ended up getting a 6th year, and that was 2010. So he squeaked right in.
You guys are gonna have to help me there. I wasn't even born, so I do not do not know much about him.
You weren't born when?
2005.
Wait, when were you born?
That's crazy.
2006.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. All
That's
right.
My handle, man. Samwise 2006.
That's actually nuts.
I've never even thought. Wow, that's crazy. All right. Well, I'm stunned. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. So what we've been doing is we've been letting the lower seeded team pick where we want to start the duel. So because obviously we're not going to flip a coin and whatever. So Edinboro is going to pick where we start the duel. We're going to let Sean pick where he wants to start the duel. So where are you thinking we should start?
I'm thinking it's in Burrow's best interest to start at 57.
Awesome.
57 it is.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it. 157, we've got Brian Real Budo, and Johnny, you said Gresheimer?
Yep, Gresheimer.
Awesome. So tell us, Jude / Sean, whoever knows more, who's Johnny?
Sean, how well you know him, man?
I know him pretty well. He was coming out when I got there. I was never on the same team as Johnny, but he graduated, as I was coming in. So he was still around the program a little bit. I've seen him scrap. I've been around the guy. I like the guy a lot. Was very scrambly wrestler, a goer for sure, a type of guy that wanted a lot of action during the match. Was a guy who was going to dive underneath. He was going to roll ankles. There was going to be a lot of action. Really enjoyed watching Johnny wrestle. I think he's got a tough matchup here with Real Budo. I obviously have watched a lot of Real Budo, and he was really good as well. So, Jude, what do you think?
Johnny, I believe he was a two-time national qualifier, and he wrestled at two different weights, I'm pretty sure. So,
yeah, right.
Everything you say sounds good to me. So, that's Johnny, and tell us a little bit about our Cornell opponent here.
So Real Budo, he's a much more well-known guy for the Bears. He took 6th his freshman year, 2nd his sophomore year, and then his junior year he got hurt in the first round of NCAAs and had to pull out. But then the next year he ended up taking 5th, I believe, and so he's a 3-time All-American. I think he was a 4-time EIWA champ. And was his junior year when he got hurt, he was ranked number 1 in the country, and
wow.
He entered his senior year 92-16. So one of Cornell's best guys to ever do it.
Do you guys remember what happened to him in his semis match his senior year? I think it was.
Was that against senior year? Well, no, I don't.
Who is he wrestling? Well, they got the score wrong. He should have won.
Was that
Is that Ian Miller?
Yes,
it was Ian.
Okay,
Miller. Was it Ian Miller who got screwed? I can't remember.
Yeah, Ian Miller got screwed. So that was his sophomore season when he made the finals.
Yeah,
so
it's Ian Miller.
He wrestled Ian Miller in the semifinals and went into sudden victory. And I remember it shouldn't have been in sudden victory, right? I think that was the deal.
It was a quarterfinal, I believe.
No, it was the semis.
He was supposed to be up by 1.
20 was that? I think
it was 2015. It was definitely the semifinals.
Yeah, it was the quarters.
Yeah, it was the quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, they're missing a match here.
I mean, it's like, dude, Ian Miller. You'd be surprised if this stuff doesn't happen more often. Ian Miller throws points around like nobody's business. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. It was crazy though. And there was like a commotion, and all of a sudden they just stepped back on an overtime, and then all of a sudden the match is over and Miller won. It shouldn't have gone into overtime, but debacle, I guess you could say, but pretty interesting.
I just chatted the link to the video, the quarterfinal match. That's insane. I would hate, Sean, imagine something like that happening to you.
What a huge...
I can't.
Okay.
And then it's in the quarters, so then you still have to win that next match to be an All-American, and you really should have been in the semis, and that's a huge swing. It's a huge swing.
Dude, and it's crazy. So I found the Win Magazine article, which actually breaks down the scoring of that match, and Miller's leading. He's winning in the third period, 8-4. He gets Brian escapes and gets a takedown. It's 8-7. And they cut and Brian Robuto cuts Miller immediately. So that should have made the score 9-7, but they missed it. And then so they didn't give him the escape points.
Right.
And then Robuto got a takedown, which put into overtime, but they missed the escape point. So it never should have been in overtime in the first place. Robuto gets the takedown in OT, and they didn't. Oh my gosh,
Unbelievable.
that happened.
So,
Wow, that's insane.
this was a crazy bracket that year too. Just like that match in the quarters.
Yeah.
And the very next match for Robuto, he's wrestling Dylan Ness, and Dylan Ness and Isaiah Martinez were just on a collision course that year. And somehow, whatever goes on, Ness ends up getting injured in the semifinals and having to injury default out in the semifinals, and then wasn't even able to wrestle the rest of the tournament. So Robuto had just crazy path to get finals, and then ended up getting majored by Imar. But there's only three guys, I think three or two. I think there's only two dudes in college wrestling that beat Isaiah Martinez. So
yeah.
Well, it's just crazy. I mean, you go from you're in the quarters, you're in a barn burner, then all of a sudden, that happens to you, and then Ness gets hurt, boom, you're a national finalist. Whereas it easily could have been you lose by one in an awesome match, and you're in the round of 12, anything happens, and maybe you don't even All-American. That's how crazy the NCAAs are. And
from Ian Miller's perspective, he's like, I won the match, and I could have been a national finalist, but since of a scoring mistake that I could not control, now I'm down in the round of 12. Oh, yeah, what a huge swing.
I couldn't imagine being Ian Miller in that situation. I'd be very upset.
Well, give him some credit, man, because Ian Miller loses in that just gets screwed and then drops down and beats is it Elder 24-6. So not only does he drop down,
he bounced back.
Puts it on.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But we're getting down a rabbit hole, so let's go back. 157. Brian Robuto for me. He's a NCAA finalist, 3-time All-American. It's hard to pick against him.
For sure. I'm going to have to go Robuto as well.
I follow in suit, Brian Robuto.
That's all four of us. That'll take the lead for Cornell 3-0.
All right.
Move up to 65, where this one's very heavily leaning in Cornell's favor. But could you guys give the rundown on Jared King?
Yeah, so Gerard King, he wrestled I believe his senior season was 2009, 2010 season. So there's not a lot of stuff on him. They don't even have a bio on Edinboro's website about him that I could find. But I mean, what it says here in the document, for what I was able to find, he was first and third, and he won. He won a national title. Really good wrestler by all accounts. But I mean, he's going up against Kyle Dake. So Sam Herring, give us just the 30-second Kyle Dake breakdown.
Man beat David Taylor multiple times. He's a 4-time NCAA champ at 4 different weights. Cornell's greatest wrestler of all time. This is back-to-back for Cornell. Brian Robuto to Kyle Dake is insane. And I think the only guy that can challenge Kyle Dake for greatest Cornell wrestler of all time is Yanni. And even then, it'd be so hard to do it. He's a world champion, 2-time world champion, was unscored upon in his first year. He's beaten Jordan Burroughs. Absolutely incredible wrestler.
For sure. But remember, we got to – and Kyle Dake obviously had an unbelievable college career. But we're talking college. Doesn't matter necessarily what Dake's done on the senior level. Although you're right, Sam. He's been incredible. No doubt about it. Dake, it's hard to bet against Dake with just so few of losses that he's had. Since he's been on the college level, you just never see the guy lose. But, I know Jared King is a heck of a wrestler. And, I hadn't seen a ton of Jared King wrestling, and when Sam asked me to do this, I watched a little bit of film on him. And, really just a guy with great motion, great high C. Really just good in all 3 phases of the mat. I definitely think it'd be a very good match. Dake's never been known to put up a ton of points in college. He wasn't really known for that. And I think it would be hard for him to score a lot on Jared King. So I think it would be a good match, but it's hard to bet against Kyle.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is a really, really tough match for Jared King. And he, like you said, he's an incredible wrestler, national title under his belt, one of Edinboro's greatest guys, but he's just going against the greatest of all time.
I want to put this out there. All right, let's see if this works for let me. Can you guys see my bracket I'm pulling over?
We cannot. I think you need to.
I cannot.
Undo.
Okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
I got to share this because there is right there. Oh, okay. Oh, give me a second and I'll find it. But this bracket from his championship run, from Jerry King's championship run, you absolutely have to see this bracket. Is insane. And it was like, obviously, we're talking about Kyle Dake here, which is a all-time guy. But we have to give some credit. Can you guys see the bracket?
Yeah, we got it. That's insane.
Okay.
Bracket.
So check this out. In the bracket that Jared King won, let's first of all say that he was the 12 seed. Seed, okay? In the second round, he has Nick Muchastegui. And then after that, he ends up having John Reed in the semis and beats Andrew Howe in the finals. But not only were those the dudes that he took out, the guys in this bracket, Mac Lunas, Dan Valamont, Nick Muchastegui, Ryan Morningstar, just it's insane. I mean, John Reeder.
John Reeder, yeah.
I mean,
Moza Fay, Colt Sponseller. He was one of my coaches at Borough, an awesome wrestler.
Like the amount of just greats in this bracket and the 12 seed Jared
another Cornell
King
guy
wins.
here, Mac Lunas.
Yeah. And so I know that, we're talking about him wrestling Kyle Dake, and it's hard not to just look at it as a Dake trump card, but we have to give him credit for this because this is an insane run.
Insane.
Absolutely. I mean, King was awesome. And like I said, just watching some of his film, I mean, he was good at everything. Like, I've seen one match, he shoots from the open, guy pulls him up, King goes bear hug and puts him on his back and pins him. And then another match, he's shooting from the open, hitting clean singles, taking people down. Another match, he's turning people on top. So it's like he's a very complete wrestler. I mean, it's hard to put him out of any match of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, winning, this has got to be all time. But, yeah.
I love that.
For me, it sucks that it has to be this way, but it's going to have to be Kyle Dake for me. He's one of, if not the greatest of all time. I think when you win 4 national titles in 4 different weight classes and you pretty much go on for most of your college career, I can't pick against him. So it's
also like just the guy, like he beat David Taylor, who won 2 Hodge trophies. He's a world champion, right? Who aside from Bubba Jenkins and Kyle Dake, who also could have been a 4-time national champion. Just Dake's he's got this one. I'm sorry, Kyle Dake.
When someone beats David Taylor, that's a mark on Jude Swishers.
What I think is crazy too is that, like, I just thought about this. I had to look up if Kyle Dake had a Hodge. He won the Hodge in 2013, and that, like, I don't know if it's just me, but that fact gets lost under all the other.
It does kind of. People always say 4-time national champion. They never really say Hodge trophy winner.
The 4 different weights thing is incredible to me too. It's not like
definitely
claim he had easy competition. He literally moved up every single year.
Definitely.
I'd love to see this match go down. There's not a whole lot of dudes in this world that can score on Kyle Dake. So
I have a question. What do you think our world would be like now if David actually beat Kyle Dake as a senior, like in the national finals?
Not much different.
Not much
what
different.
What our world would be like, he said.
What are you talking about?
It would be.
I feel like
we would have already had a couple of pandemics. We'd be at World War
III right at the moment.
It definitely build David Taylor's case a little bit more to be the greatest college wrestler of all time. But I mean, other than that, I think and you already can make that case for David. I mean, he was unbelievable, whether he lost to Dake or not. But yeah, so we can move on. I mean, I guess you got to go Dake there. I mean, he's just unbelievable in college. It's tough.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I think we're all on Dake there. We'll move down to 174. Familiar name we just saw in this bracket I pulled up. Mac Lunas from Cornell versus Phil. Is it Morricone? I believe.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Jacob, could you give the rundown on Mac Lunas?
Yes, if you will give me 1 second. Jude, can you go on Phil first real quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. I can find so very little on this man. I think he was a 1-time, maybe 2-time NCAA qualifier. Sean, do you know of him?
Who, Phil Morricone?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good. I'm not positive on his stats. I went back and watched some film on him, and I couldn't find if he All-American or not. Do you guys know?
I think he didn't. There's so very little on him because he was just in this era of just when it was getting started.
Right.
There's not a ton.
Right. I'm with you, but I know that the stories of Phil, that surrounded Burrow were just a lot about it was just about his hard work and his dedication, and he had a gym. I can't remember where it was, but I know some of our guys would train there and go train with him. And when I watched some of his matches, I mean, you could tell the dude was just a strong dude. He was a goer. He was going to come forward. You were going to have to hand fight with him for 3 periods. He wasn't going to get tired. I like Phil. I mean, I liked watching his matches. I like what I saw from Phil. What does Mac's resume look like?
Yeah. So Mac Lunas was a 4-time EIWA champion. He was a 3-time NCAA All-American. As a freshman, he took 4th. As a sophomore, is that bracket he was in that we just pulled up, where he was actually the #1 seed in one of the best brackets of all time. Ends up getting taken out in round 1. So he's one of those rare 1 seeds to lose in round 1. But he didn't end up fighting all the way back for a placement there. But in his junior season, he kind of redeemed himself, made an NCAA final against Jay Borschel, and ended up losing that match 6-2. So he got 2nd as a junior, and then as a senior, he ended up getting 4th place again. So 3-time national champion. Obviously that's kind of a big blemish on the resume with the 1 seed losing in the first round. But a thing that people don't really remember is when he wrestled in the finals his junior year against Jay Borschel, he was undefeated, and I believe he hadn't been taken down at all the entire year. And Jay Borschel kind of went out there and put it on him, and I believe he took him down 3 times. And so he was definitely one of those guys. It was one of the better ones to not win a title, and it's kind of not forgotten. Obviously, people know the name, but not talked about as highly as he should be, I think. In his career, he won 150 matches and 12 losses.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
Pretty good record.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And what year did he graduate?
It looks like he graduated in. Man, I think so. That one I just showed was 2009, so 2011, I believe. Yeah, 2011. Graduated in 2011, but man, I mean, just think. He wrestled 162 matches in his college career, won 150 of them. It's insane.
That's nuts.
That's insane in high school.
That's a lot of matches, and honestly, in today's age, you just don't see people wrestling that many matches anymore. You see it less and less, and it's just impressive, really.
In high school, Morcone was 178-8, and in college, he was 74-24.
Gotcha. Does it say if he All-American or not?
He did
just
not.
A 2-time qualifier.
He was a 3-year starter,
2-time qualifier.
And So he got a 6 year of eligibility through a medical red shirt. He lost a bunch of time off from injuries. I think it was neck injuries. It says.
Well, I mean, I know who I'm going here with this match. It's definitely Mac Lunas. Just his overall career, and it's all been said. So Mac, 1 vote.
Yep, same here.
2 votes. 3 votes.
I'm gonna go with the upset, Phil, even though it doesn't matter. I got to give my boy something.
Yeah, nice.
You got to put us on the board.
Don't get blown out. It's not cool.
All right. Well, let's jump down to 184, where we have Gabe Dean versus Vic Avery.
This is such a good team for Cornell.
Yeah, it really is.
Cornell is a very good team, no doubt about it. But I can get us started with Vic. I'm good buddies with Vic. He was awesome. I mean, Vic in part changed my life when I came to Borough. Just, between watching him and Mitchell and AJ and Habit, just like the way they worked out and the way they lived their life off the mat was very inspiring for me. And Vic, I mean, gosh, he was so good. I mean, he got 3rd his junior year, and he wrestled Gabe in the semis in an incredible match. The match was unbelievable. And the reason Vic lost is Vic hits a switch in double overtime when Vic's on bottom, and Vic has Gabe Dean's leg up in the air for like 25 seconds or 20 seconds. And so the whole time, technically, Gabe's still riding because Vic won't let go. Vic finally lets go at the very end, and then they keep wrestling it out. And then at the end of it, Gabe Dean had more riding time than Vic. So that's why Gabe Dean went on to the finals and Vic went for the wrestleback.
I remember that.
So, yeah, so you can make it, no doubt in my mind, you can make a case Vic could win this match. I mean, Vic trained harder than anybody I know. Vic, in my opinion, was every day good enough to be a multi-time All-American. He battled some injuries, trained very hard. But yeah, I like Vic in this matchup, and I think if Vic's health could have gone a little bit better for him, I think we'd have seen Vic beat Gabe at least once or twice throughout his college career.
Wow.
Ooh. Well, hey, I'll go with you on that. I'll vote Vic. I mean, if we're taking peak Vic Avery, then I think maybe he could beat Gabe Dean.
For sure, I like it.
I want to throw this out there real quick. I was looking, and these two have met 2 times, and both of, including the one you just talked about, both of them went into sudden victory. So both of the matches went into overtime. Gabe Dean obviously having a lot of trouble with Vic both times they wrestled. So that's absolutely not a crazy pick.
Pick Vic. Pick Vic.
So
Gabe Dean, 2-time NCAA champ, 4-time All-American. It's really hard to bet against this guy. One of Cornell's strongest guys. Sorry, Jude and Sean, but man, I don't see it happening.
yeah.
Okay.
Even though it
Same
definitely
here.
could happen.
It could.
Same here.
There's a clear path to victory for both guys. I think it's.
I mean, look,
And if you're arguing,
Vic gets that switch at double overtime, maybe Vic's a one-time national champ too. I mean, you're talking inches and ounces here.
that's true. But Gabe Dean took that match, and I don't think that was a peak to Gabe Dean, and I don't think that was a peak to Vic Avery. So it's hard to bet on which guy's peak is better.
Come on,
But
Jacob.
I'm going with Gabe Dean.
Jacob,
Don't come on me, Jude. Okay,
Come on,
sorry.
buddy.
Dude, I would love to see the match again. And like you're saying, if there's health issues going on there, I definitely would have loved to see, a Vic Avery that wasn't dealing with some of those health issues. I remember that semifinal match. I was there, and I remember watching it going the whole like you're saying, he's still getting riding time. Like, get away the whole time.
Right.
And the match might have been different if it had happened quicker and the riding time had been stopped. But come on, man. I mean, it's 0 against Avery. But it's Gabe Dean. I mean, he went 3-1-1-2. And he was 2-0 against Avery here. I can't personally do it. I mean, 155-7 was Gabe Dean's record.
Oh, he was unreal.
Ruth.
Look, no doubt about it. I remember one tournament. I think it was Cliff King Vegas. I watched Dean tech fall through it, and I remember just kind of being in awe watching him. Just like, wow, man, he's really head and shoulders, above the competition right now. I think that was his senior year.
Yeah, I think honestly too I mean, obviously he was a 2-time national champ, right? So we don't downplay what Gabe Dean did, but I think his senior year losing to Bo Nickel kind of put a little bit of a tarnish on how we think about him. Because obviously, again, we think about him with the greatest, but Bo kind of handled him in that match at the end, and I think it was, I don't know, it was kind of a letdown for me. Like, I was really pulling for Gabe. I mean, I loved both the wrestlers. I think it was awesome, but I was kind of pulling for Gabe in that match, and I don't know. It's hard to see a guy go 1-1 and then finish getting second. But like I said, it's got to be Gabe Dean for me here. So
It's tough.
They don't know, Sean. They don't know.
Hey, listen. All I got to say is I hope that Vic's not listening to this, and I hope I never am in the same wrestling room with him because
I hope he is listening to this.
I was the
We get him on
deciding
the
vote,
podcast.
Oh, come
and
on.
he's a very large man.
Come on. If you pick something, stick with it and don't
I picked it,
be
and I'm
don't be afraid.
no. I'm not afraid of the pick. I'm afraid of the man.
I know what you're
Afraid of what he's gonna do to you.
Well, look, Vic Avery was incredible, but if somebody picked against me because the other guy had beat me twice, I would have nothing to say.
Sam, I pick against you every match, man.
Pick against me. I mean, if there's reasons to pick against me, then I can't argue with you.
Yeah. All right. Let's go down to 197. We got Cam Simaz versus Chris Honeycutt. I remember watching both these guys wrestle.
We lost Jude somehow.
Yeah.
We lost Jude. Oh.
I'll see if I can get him back
Or
on.
Jude.
That's okay. Lost a Penn State fan. There's a million of them.
I need Jude. Jude's had my back the whole time. We need to get him back on here.
All right, Sam will get him back on. But we'll go ahead. 197, Cam Simaz, Chris Honeycutt. Was Honeycutt around the program when you were down there, Sean? Or up there?
A little bit. Kind of similar to King and Gresheimer. He was on his way out, and but he came in a few times. I watched him do some goes with Vic. When he started fighting and stuff. And I've been on Chris a little bit, not a ton, but I pulled up some matches before doing this, and I mean he was a physical specimen. I mean, no doubt about it. Just he looked so strong in his matches. I was like, it was amazing to me how strong he looked. And I watched his match against Simez, which was an awesome NCAA finals match. Really looked like Honeycutt was in control, and Simez had some good open shots from the open to be at 197.
Yeah.
So tough. I don't know. Tough matchup. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the stats for Simaz, he was an All-American in all 4 years, a 4-time EIWA champion. He won the finals in 2012, and that was over Chris Honeycutt, which again, like you're saying, was an awesome match. Man, that's a tough one because, like you're saying, it was a great match. It could have went either way. Statistically, I think we're having to lean more Simaz's way just from a stats perspective. But I can definitely see the argument either way here. So I don't know,
sure,
man.
and yeah, it's tough. And man, watching that match, like the fact it was at 97 was shocking to me, just because the way the two guys wrestled. I mean, you got Simez shooting low singles from the open, and Honeycutt rolling ankles and coming out the back door, and it was an awesome match. And yeah, man, I mean, just two great athletes, and can't say enough about Cornell's lineup here. I mean, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, and that's why, that's what makes some of these kind of hard to talk about, and is that, Edinboro's lineup is awesome, right? But so is Cornell's, and
for sure.
it's hard to talk about sometimes, and I feel like, I'm just picking all one way, and it sucks, but it is what it is. These are two of the best lineups of the decade. And
for sure, and you gotta go with who you really think, and
yeah,
I mean, sometimes when guys have wrestled in college and you've seen them wrestle and one guy won, and that's gonna skew your vote a little bit. But I try and remember that, this is a new duel. This isn't that one match. And even if someone won by 1 point, it's like it could always go the other way. And, so I try and remember that too.
All right, guys, back. We should be getting Jude back on in a second. I don't know what happened, but he should be here in just a couple seconds. Have you guys gotten your picks in? Because I'm taking Simaz here, or Simaz. I'm not really sure how you
It's Simaz. And, I don't know if you were still on here when Sean said it, but they actually wrestled in the NCAA finals.
Did they really?
Yeah. And it was a great match. Simaz ended up coming out on top. Simaz was a 4-time All-American. It just all is kind of leaning Simaz's way. Again, like we were kind of saying, we weren't on here. This is definitely a match that could have won either way, because it was a really good one. But I think most of the stuff is leaning more Simaz's way, and so I'm gonna end up picking Simaz. When you got a 97-pounder shooting low singles, and his athleticism was unreal.
Hey, I'm close to being a 97-pounder shooting low singles.
Yeah,
without the one, maybe.
Without the one.
Yeah.
Dude, what happened, man?
Dude, I just got popped out of the meeting. Don't know what happened. I was in the middle of opening my mouth, and then all of a sudden it was like blink. And I was gone.
Unreal.
I don't know.
You missed my burn when you jumped off.
Yeah.
Great. I'm really so sad I missed that.
I said it's okay. He's a Penn State fan. There's a million of them. We can find another one.
Oh no. Well, that's actually it's pretty true. All right. Where are we at right now? Please enlighten me. I'm sorry for being.
Hey, I'm gonna move locations really quick. I mean, you guys are good, but my phone's gonna die. So let me take this in the other room. We can keep going now.
All right, that's
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah. So me and Sam have picked Simaz.
Yeah, Simez is a killer. Are you kidding me,
Yeah.
dude? He's incredible. Give me Cam Simez.
Yeah. So like we were saying though, these two guys did wrestle in the NCAA finals. So it was an awesome match.
Does Sean have sim as too?
He did not make his pick yet. I think he was going to lean more on Honeycutt's way.
Okay.
But
it doesn't matter though.
All right.
It's gonna be 15-0. Goodness gracious, this Cornell team.
I want to get to those lightweights though. I think that's where the fun's really.
That's where the fun is for sure.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Start off, Real Buto and Gresheimer's fun, and then Dake King is fun, but the rest aren't
real quick, I got to show this since we're talking about this match, and people at home can see. Here is the match we are actually talking about. Right, we're talking about Chris Honeycutt, Cam Simaz, and Honeycutt 2-time All-American, Simaz 4-time.
Going with the no shirt pick.
The no shirt pick. You guys remember Kyle Dake had a no shirt pick?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, but this is the actual match that's on YouTube. So if you're listening in and you wanna formulate your own opinion, then you can definitely jump on and see this actual how it all plays out. But at the end of the day. We do end up with Cam Simaz coming out on top 7-5. So you guys can see that, right?
Yep.
We can see it. Yep.
Very, very choppy though. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Great match, but me and Sam got Simaz. Jude, what are you thinking?
Simaz as well. I mean, he beat the man. So, well, I mean, Sean, who you got, my man?
Sean.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
yes,
we got
sir.
you.
Sam, can you guys see the graphic again?
Not yet. I was still black.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to take Honeycutt. Boys,
yeah.
Stick to my gun, stick to my burrow, guys, and I'm gonna have to take Honeycutt.
Awesome. Well, hey, I mean, it's a close match. I have not watched it, but I mean, you can definitely make a case for Honeycutt.
Let's move on up to heavyweight, and if Jacob can get the graphic up.
Yeah, can y'all see it now?
Yep.
Awesome. So we're back in. We're up to heavyweight. At this point, we do. I'm sorry, I keep erasing your check mark, Sam.
Hey, dog, it don't matter. We gotta keep it moving.
But 285, Jeremy Sweeney versus Ernest James. So, Jude, get us started. Jude/Sean, whoever knows Ernest James, get us started.
You got it, Sean, or you want me to do it? All right. Hey, I'll take it. Sean, so Ernest James, 2-time national qualifier. He took second at EWLs 1 year. Pretty good. I believe he was a 3 or 4 year starter for the Fighting Scots. Wrestled 285. Big man, dude. Big man. They have a picture on the bio of him doing a mat return against Adam Kuhn, so that's pretty cool. And then Sam, tell us about Jeremy Sweeney.
Again, similar to a guy.
Yeah, Sam, tell us about Jeremy Sweeney.
All right, so Sweeney's a more recent guy, and I know him a little bit better from watching him in the past years. He's actually wrestled.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Right now we do. It sounds really
okay. You can hear me now.
Yeah,
that's better.
It's very choppy.
I was muted. I didn't know I was muted.
Oh, hey, it's all right, man. That happens.
But yeah,
my bad. All right, keep going.
Sweeney's senior year was 2019, so I know him a little bit better. He was 3-time NCAA qualifier. Not the best. I know it's been said, but Cornell's heavyweights aren't really the specialty there. So he was a 3-time NCAA qualifier, and that's really his stats. He took 6th, 7th at the EIWAs, and that's Jeremy Sweeney.
I mean, hey, I'm gonna pick Sweeney here in this match, partially because of recency bias, also because he's a 3-time qualifier.
Hold up. Who's Ernest James? You told us about him?
Yeah. Did you not hear me? Oh, I'm sorry.
He did talk about him, yeah.
I think I was muted. when I was talking about Ernest. But Ernest was a stud. And Ernest qualified 2 or 3 times.
2
times. He was in the round of 12. He was 2-time. He was in the round of 12. To me, when I was watching film on Ernest, it seemed like he was a guy that was probably really hard to wrestle at heavyweight. He was a guy who kind of liked space. He looked strong. He shot doubles from the open. He had a really good cradle on top. I like Ernest in this match. I'm going to have to take Ernest.
I'm going with you as well. I think Jeremy Sweeney also had a little bit lighter competition these last couple of years. At heavyweight, it's kind of watered down, especially in the EIWA. So I'm going with Ernest James.
Give me Sweeney. I've never watched Ernest James, but I have seen Jeremy Sweeney matches, so I will go with what I know.
I've watched Jeremy Sweeney in – never mind, I've not. I was going to say in person, but I actually haven't. I thought I did. I've not.
I seriously hate you guys for always putting me in this position somehow. I don't know what it is, but I'm always the last one. But, yeah, I mean, looking at these two guys, this is – I mean, it's definitely one that I could go either way on. Thinking back, because I remember watching these guys wrestle, and like Sean's saying, that heavyweight cradle, I think is a little bit of a difference maker. He was good on top, and I'm going to go fighting Scots on this one, give him the first one.
I like it. Nice. Let's go.
You can't bet against a heavyweight that's got a good cradle, man.
Yeah.
But,
man, he did too. He looked strong.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I'm sorry. I had the score wrong a minute ago. I don't know why I put 30-0, but that'll be –
Yeah, it's part of the fun.
No worries. We got it. So let's go down 125. We'll kind of talk about each guy here, and then we'll let Sean dictate how much we want to talk about it since he is in, and we always want to be respectful if we got a guy on the show that's actually in the lineup.
Sean could also just landmine the whole dang thing.
Man, it is up to you if you want to make your pick, talk about it, whatever. We'll roll with the punches how you want to do it. But let's go ahead.
No.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and Sam, tell us about Troy Nickerson first.
So Troy Nickerson, I actually did not know all that well. This is one of the guys that I made a mistake. I actually had Frank Pirelli on the team, and at first I was considering Vitor Arujau, so just getting a little bit of recency bias to myself. But he's a national champ. He was actually notable. He was the first 5-time high school state champ in the state of, I think it was New York, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's from New York.
Yep. Yeah, he's from Shenango Forks. So, yeah, he was the first 5-time high school state champ. He's now coaching at the University of Northern Colorado. And, like I said, he was a national champ. Started, I think he was started in 2006. So, the year I was born. So, I'm going to have some more stats on him.
Yeah, so I'll talk about it for a second. So I thought it was funny because this was kind of a little bit of a breaking news situation from HMA this morning that we had to switch the lineup because, like we said, Sam had Frank Pirelli in there, which was also a great wrestler. But I was looking through and I was just kind of like studying, and I was like, man, when did Troy Nickerson graduate? Like I have to look that up real quick, and it ended up being 2010, and dudes kind of snuck in. Yeah, and he was great, man. I mean, he never finished lower than 4th place, right? He had a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all on his resume. Won a national title in 2009 for Cornell. Ended up finishing 4th his senior year, but he was great. I mean, he's one of the greats for Cornell over there, and a lot of fun to watch wrestle. He's like Sam said, he's coaching at Northern Colorado now. And I think it's kind of funny. This morning when I saw it, I was like, Sam, how did you leave out Troy Nickerson? And then thinking about it now, I'm like, okay, Sam was like 1, 2, 3 years old during that time. So I can see how you left out Nickerson.
It's all right. It happens.
But anyways, we'll jump over and Jude, Sean, whoever wants to talk about this one, I'll let you guys go for it.
I got it, Sean. You don't have to talk about yourself unless you want to.
My boy Jude, I appreciate him.
All right, hey, listen, man. So Sean Russell, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. NCAA All-American for Edinboro, and then he transitioned to Minnesota. He was a 3-time national qualifier. He had a career record. I don't know, Sean, do you know your career record?
Might not. I think we're losing him.
I think I ended up with somewhere around 135 or 40 wins.
All right, here, listen, man. You had 140.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. You were 40 and 35. So, 140 wins in college in D1 is really incredible.
Hang on.
Hey,
hang on.
Losing you a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just...
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. What is safe driving mode? How do you turn safe driving mode off? I'm struggling over here. I'm straight struggling over here.
Don't worry, dog. It's okay. It's all right.
Sure. It's real. It would be the time that Sean Russell comes up to wrestle that he's struggling right now. We can't find him because he's got Troy Nickerson.
You're late to the match.
Troy Nickerson standing on the line waiting to wrestle, and Sean is
Hey,
disappearing.
it's strategy, trying to let him get cold.
Yeah. He's just ready, man. But
I'm just gonna. Yeah. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we're good. You can just keep your video off, and that way it'll probably get a little bit smoother.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. My thing's all messed up.
No.
But yeah, man, Troy's awesome, man. I got a chance to roll around with Troy when I was coming into college, and he was doing a little bit of recruiting down here in Georgia with me and my buddy Milhoff, and I've gotten to roll around him. The one thing I'll say that I think would play for an advantage for me in this match is that Troy was a smaller 25-pounder, and the one thing that I gave up a lot in college was size. I mean, I was never very big. So if I was going to wrestle, if I had my pick of national champions, I think I would do better against. Troy would be one of the ones I think I would do good against, just based off size. But again, Troy's awesome, man, and he had an incredible career. So,
All right, hey guys, I actually have to go. I'm gonna go pop on the Defensive Pin podcast here really shortly. So I will let you guys continue, but let me give you my picks for the last 3 matches. At 133, I'm taking AJ Schaub. 141, taking Mitchell Port. 149, taking David Habit. Go Fighting Scots. And I'll see you guys later. Keep it rolling. Bye-bye.
Dude.
Sounds good, man. Thanks, Jude. I like your picks, bro.
Bye, Sean. It was a pleasure to meet you, my man.
Pleasure to meet you too, man.
Wow, what a way to just drop a bomb and get off. Okay.
Yanni Diakomahalis. Sean Garrett gone. No explanation. See y'all later.
I like it.
Wow. Okay. Well, anyways, we'll get back on. Yeah. So real quick. So there's a question that I've wondered. So I actually grew up in Georgia. And I wrestled throughout middle school, high school, battled some injuries, whatever. But I remember watching Sean wrestle growing up, and he was a state champ in Georgia. And you're talking about Milhoff, who was actually your teammate in high school, right?
Yeah.
So I have a question because, I don't know how many people are familiar with, Georgia history and all that. Sean Russell was a 4-time state champion, and Ryan Milhoff was a 4-time state champion. And the only reason that Milhoff was not a 4-time state champion is because of Sean Russell. So what kind of dynamic was that like, Sean? Because you guys actually met the state finals both of your freshman year and ended up being teammates the last 3 years.
Yeah, man. It was crazy. And I grew up with Ryan, and me and Ryan had been training together since we were 6 years old. And, we trained together, and our dads were pretty good friends, and we started going to nationals together, and we had some success. And coming into our freshman year, we're actually going to the same high school, which was Archer at the time. And we were about the same exact size. We both wanted to go 103. And, at first we kind of talked about the loser would just go 13, but we were both really small, and, we both really didn't want to go 13. And so, we just started doing some research, and, my dad was really asking me about what my goals were, and I was telling him I wanted to be a national champ and stuff like that. So my dad was like, well, man, I think the best shot for you to be a national champ is for me to move us to Collins Hill. And you go to a school that's going to travel and going to go to Powerade and going to go to Ironman and going to go to these schools. Because he was like, I don't know how much, you win in state in Georgia is going to, how much clout that's going to carry. So my dad was pretty smart in that regard. And I truly believe in my heart that the reason I won that state finals match that year is because I think I had 8 or 9, maybe even 10 losses my freshman year. And they were all like double overtime or a semifinals loss to a junior at Powerade, and I can't remember who it was. I can't remember, but I lost at Ironman. I lost to Kolodzic at Ironman, and I just wrestled a lot of good guys, and I was very battle tested. And Ryan, he went to Archer, and they didn't really leave the state. And Ryan kind of, he beat up on everybody all year. But I think that just me traveling really helped me win that match, and then I think Ryan kind of saw that, and so then after that, Ryan decided he wanted to come to Collins Hill too, where he could travel as well.
That's really cool. Hey, I think we lost Jacob for some reason. I don't know what's going on with technology today. The coronavirus is getting at everything.
Gosh, they doesn't want this interview to happen.
we'll look up in the next weight, which I will start sharing my screen and put up the same doc that he had, and then I'll get Jacob in here as soon as he can.
Yeah, that's cool.
But as I'm waiting for it, we got Nashawn Garrett and AJ Shop. And just to start thinking about that one, these guys have two totally different styles. And did they ever wrestle in their career?
I don't think so. Nashawn would have been young, when AJ
close.
Graduated.
All right, there we go. Can you see that up on the screen?
Let me see. Hang on.
Here's a. All right, so we got it up on the screen, and Jacob is here now. So I'm going to turn off the share and allow Jacob in to the meeting. Sorry, guys, for all the technical difficulties.
It's all good.
How's it going, Jacob?
Hey, man, we're having some technical issues.
I know.
But anyway, what did I miss? Where are we at?
We just started to move up to 33. We got Nashawn and an AJ Shop.
All right.
So we can go ahead and share the screen there. I'll update the scores, and we'll just go with Troy Nickerson for the win, just because that's what the Twitter polls had. So we don't really need to vote on that one.
But
all good.
Fun one to see.
Sorry about that.
Definitely.
All good. All good. I'd love to wrestle that match, but all good.
That'd be fun. So let's go 133. We got Nashawn Garrett in one corner for Cornell, and AJ Shop for Edinboro. This would be a really fun one to watch. I'm sad that we never got to see it. But
that's what I was just saying is they came close and they were overlapping a little bit.
Yeah, we never got it. But Sean, do you want to tell us a little bit about AJ Shop?
Yeah, definitely. AJ was awesome, man. He was super hard worker, a very stubborn wrestler, very stubborn, which is an awesome trait to have as a wrestler. And what I mean by that is really just his top wrestling. I mean, he got it in his mind that he was going to get your wrist, and there was no stopping him. He was going to get your wrist, and he was going to turn you. And I've seen him tech some really good wrestlers. I've seen him 15-point tech All-Americans, and he had an awesome career, and he definitely one of Coach Flynn's favorites. I mean, he worked very hard and just had an awesome career and was very disciplined, and just a really good wrestler. Can't say enough about him.
Yeah, I mean, I remember he was just an absolute hammer on top, and he's apparently been, great in his coaching career so far, really helping a lot of different great wrestlers with their top game, right?
Definitely.
I think he was, so we just had Seth Gross on the show earlier, and AJ Shop started off at South Dakota State with Seth Gross, and Seth kind of told stories about how, we all know how great Gross was on top, right? He's a national champion.
Sure.
He turned everybody. And Seth Gross told us that in practice, he said Shop would just turn him all over like it was nothing. Like, he's like, I would go in and think that, I'm not going to get turned. I got this. And then all of a sudden Shop's got me in a tilt. And so
Shop's a defense guy.
Yeah. And so that's definitely a match that I would want to see. In the other corner, we got Nashawn Garrett, who I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'll look him up. I believe Nashawn Garrett was a 4-time All-American, if I'm correct. And he was obviously an NCAA finalist twice. He lost to Jesse Delgado, but then ended up beating Corey Clark, I remember. So the Delgado match, when he lost, I remember, man, you got to go watch that video if you're listening in, because literally as soon as the whistle blows to start the match, Nashawn is just blowing through Delgado with a double leg. And we all remember Delgado's crazy scrambles. And just somehow that blast double leg off the whistle just had Delgado dead to rights, ended up in a scramble and Delgado getting out of it. But Nashawn really is a guy that has a hit list all throughout his career, beat a lot of the top guys. He's an NCAA champion. He took down Corey Clark like 3 or 4 times. And it really would be a fun one to watch. Man, I'd pay money to see this match.
37-0 senior year. How crazy.
I'd pay money to see this match, man.
He was good. He was good. I mean, Nashawn's awesome. I mean, again, you can't say enough about him either, but in my opinion, this one is a big matchup style match, and I really think AJ would be able to slow Nashawn down. I think he'd be able to get on top. I think he'd get Nashawn's wrist, and I think he'd turn him. And that's my opinion, and I got to go with AJ on this one because of that.
Yeah, so we got we got Sean and Jude both on AJ Shop. We get Sam. What do you think? Where are you going?
You want to go last again, dude?
No, I don't want to go last.
All right. Well, you're making it. So I'm taking.
I know.
I'm taking AJ Shop. I think his top is Nahshon Garrett.
Awesome.
Awesome.
He could tilt everybody. Now, especially if we're taking 4-point near fall rules that we have now.
For sure.
Because AJ Shop didn't have that when he was wrestling.
For sure. And then that makes Nahshon, he's going to have to take him down, 5 times, 4 times.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So it's already decided. We already have Shop winning through whatever, either way I go. But I'm just going to put out there, y'all are crazy. Nahshon Garrett wins this match. That dude, he was so dynamic on his feet, just blast doubles all over the place. No, here, listen, the reason, when I looked at this, I was having a hard time with it. But when I looked at this,
I looked crazy. If you're having
because I looked back through the WrestleStat and his resume, Nahshon Garrett's, because I was trying to find where are the dudes that were just hammers on top, right? And I got back and I found actually Sean's teammate Ethan Lezak, and Nahshon Garrett teched him.
They're not similar at all.
You can whatever.
And that was a baby Ethan Lezak he teched. That was a baby Ethan Lezak.
Yes, but also a baby Ethan Lezak made the NCAA finals. Okay, so
that wasn't the same year that he teched Lezak when Lezak made the finals. That was the year Lezak went 2-2. So it's 2 different Lezaks.
No, it wasn't the same year. But Lezak made the finals in was it his freshman or sophomore year? Either way,
sophomore.
Yeah, and look, I see what you're saying, but when Lezak came back after his freshman year, that dude grew 4 inches. He was a completely different wrestler. He was little his freshman year. He was small. He was my height. It was weird. And all of a sudden he came back, was 4 inches, 5 inches taller, and at the same weight class. It was nuts.
You can argue that all you want, though. And the reality is this. Ethan Lezak and AJ Shop were both good on top, but not nearly in the same way. AJ Shop grabs your wrist and tilts you. Ethan Lezak throws legs in or crab rides and tries to suck you back. So different.
It is different a little bit.
Listen, I'm a huge Shop fan, man. I think my style of wrestling I love watching is somebody that's just a hammer on top, right? So I love watching him. He was awesome. I just can't unsee how good Garrett was on his feet, how fast he was. I'm looking through at all the dudes he beat. I mean, on his run to an NCAA title, he beat Cody Brewer in the semifinals and then Corey Clark in the finals. He beat 2 national champs on the way to his national champion.
And as we look at stats and compare to results and stuff, Nahshon Garrett blows AJ Shop out of the water in stats and results. But when you battle him in their matchups and with today's rules, AJ Shop could turn him multiple times, and that's all it takes.
Just once. Just once is all it takes.
Once, it's 4. He just does this and rides him out. That's 5 points for him.
And he's too sticky. He's too sticky on his feet for Nahshon to take him down 5 times or 4 times. Shop's going to grab his wrist, and it's going to take Nahshon 40 seconds to clear AJ's tie, and then and then he might take him down once, and then AJ's going to. I just think AJ's going to get his turn, and I don't think Nahshon's going to be able to take him down enough times to tie it up.
Yep.
So I don't want it at all to sound like I'm against Shop, because that's not.
No, you're good, man. You're good. You're entitled.
Garrett either, but
I'm
voting for AJ Shop.
You're telling me that Nahshon can only get 1 takedown.
No,
I'm saying I don't see him getting 4. I could maybe see 2 or 3 max. I don't see him. AJ was hard to take down, man. He was so long and he was so sticky. He would grab my wrist and I just couldn't get it back for 30, 40 seconds at a time. And I think AJ would slow that match down big time. I think it would frustrate Nahshon. I think when AJ gets his turn on top, he would go to work.
Sean, have you ever wrestled in the room or anything, just roll around with Nahshon?
Yeah, I wrestled Nahshon at the Open. He beat me pretty bad. Not the Open, at the Bill Farrell.
At the Bill Farrell this year. So you felt both guys.
Yeah.
And Nahshon in freestyle is obviously a little different, but more optimized. And Nahshon's a world team member. Partly. I don't know how you would say that, but he's a world team member, and he's incredible in freestyle and incredible in folk style. I just don't think he can take AJ Shop enough times to make up for the points he'll give up on bottom. Literally 1 2-minute period where AJ Shop does this, and he can get 1, 2, 3 turns.
Well, and again, I would love to see this because I think these guys are two dudes that have superpowers, right? I think Nashon on his feet is he's superpowers on his feet, and Shop has superpowers on top. And I would like to see which one of those would win out.
For sure. It'd be awesome to see, for sure.
Yeah, I would love to see that. But y'all outvoted me either way. So we'll go down to 141 where we got Yanni D and Mitchell Port. This is another one that would be fun to watch. I would love to see this one too.
Yanni's incredible, though. I mean, I probably have a little bit of recency bias, but Yanni Diakomahalis out of high school was incredible. Made junior world teams and now senior world teams this close to it. Yanni's a 2-time national champ and only 2 years into it. His scrambling abilities are insane, and I just don't see much room for anyone. Maybe if we were Ohio State here, Stieber might be tough, but
look, I see what you're saying, but remember this: Zane Rutherford just beat Yanni. Do you know who Zane Rutherford's last college loss was?
Probably Mitchell Port.
Mitchell Port. And let me tell you something about Mitchell. Yanni's wrestling skills are almost unparalleled. I mean, he's so good. He's so versatile. You can't say enough about him. Mitchell had so much heart, though. And when that dude wanted to win, he was so hard to be stopped. And I in particularly remember that match against Rutherford. And Mitchell didn't like people from Penn State. He didn't like Penn State. And I won't get into why. And, I don't want to talk about all that. But he didn't like people from Penn State. I mean, I can remember Mitchell being really pissed at me for losing to Jordan Conaway one time because he was from Penn State. And Mitchell's match with Rutherford was just all guts. I mean, he had to ride him out to win. And I just can remember it like it was yesterday. And Mitchell, I tell people all the time, he's the hardest worker I've ever been around in my life. He was the most consistent. He never showed that he was tired. He was a great leader. Without being a verbal leader, he was a great leader. And if I get my trump card, I play it right here for Mitchell Port to take out Yanni in an awesome match.
In a pin?
Is that what the trump card is? It has
you
to
get
be
to
a pin?
pick. You get to pick.
It's the only place that you get bonus points, so it's up to you.
I say I'm going with Mitchell Port with the major.
Wow.
That's awesome.
All right.
So we got our landmine down for the episode. Mitchell Port takes out Yanni D. Before we talk about more of the wrestling aspect, I just want to put some respect on the mullet that Mitchell Port had.
It was unreal.
Oh man, it was a great mullet. That's literally that's the first thing that pops into my head when I think Mitchell Port. I don't know why. Maybe it's bad, but that mullet was awesome.
No, it was such a great fit for him too, and just his wrestling style. He was just tough and nasty, and he had the mullet, and he was awesome, man. I really looked up to Mitchell when I got into college, and I still do. If Mitchell called me right now and told me something to do, I would do it. And I mean, he was awesome, man. And like Mitchell's senior year, he had 2 losses. I mean, he got second in NCAA's, and he was pound for pound ranked second at from every weight class to Logan Stieber. And when they wrestled in the duel, Stieber beat him by 2 points. It was 4-2, I think, or 5-3 or something. And in the NCAA finals that year, Mitchell tore his knee in half in the first 20 seconds of the match. So, Mitchell, as good as he was, he still, you can have an argument to say he could have even had a little bit better resume. Maybe his knee doesn't hurt. Maybe he stops Stieber from being a 4-timer. I mean, I definitely, after watching them wrestle in the Ohio State duel, thought Mitchell had a shot to win that match. But once he tore his knee up in that first period, he just wasn't the same guy. Yeah.
Do you remember Port's freshman year? What did he do his freshman year? Because
he was round of 12.
Okay. So round of 12 as a freshman. Just put some stats on it because obviously, we have our landmine. So Mitchell Port won this match. And people are going to be like, oh my God, yeah, he beat Yanni Diakomahalis. This is crazy. Even more so than what Sean's saying, I want to put a little bit more behind his name too. So round of 12 as a freshman. But then he makes a final as a sophomore, ends up losing to Kendrick Maple in that match. But I think it was 4-3. So it was by 1 point he loses the national title as a sophomore. As a junior, he gets 3rd place. And then as a senior, like you're saying, he wrestles one of the greatest of all time in the finals in Logan Stieber. And I mean, this is kind of, for me, this is the past episodes we talked about Tyler Caldwell. Tyler Caldwell wrestled for Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, was a 2-time finalist, and in both of those matches lost to great guys, right? And so Mitchell Port lost to 2 really great guys in the finals and is a couple points away from being a 2-time national champ. So before you start thinking this is crazy, go ahead and put some respect on the mullet for that. But
absolutely,
yeah. So, man, I would have had to go with Yanni in this one just because of how crazy he is and how dynamic he is and how just a generational talent he is. But I'm glad to land mine here because I don't think it's crazy at all.
No, and I think it'd be a hard matchup for Yanni, man. I mean, Port is gonna just hand fight and come forward for 3 periods, and Port's not gonna take 100 shots, and he's not gonna get into a million scrambles, but he's gonna stay within himself. He's gonna battle. He's gonna fight for every single point, and I don't care who you are. If they wrestled today, I don't think that Yanni would ever be able to blow Port out of the water. I think it'd be a good match, and in my opinion, Port takes it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we got that. We got that down. The score is 18-10 coming into the final match. Is that updated, Sam?
Yep, that's updated.
Cool. 18-10 rolling into the final match. We have Chris Villalonga and David Habit. And that's how you say it, right? David Habit?
Yep, David Habit.
Cool.
NCAA Finals in 2015. That's really one of the few matches that I've seen of David Habit. He also wrestled Zane first round in 2017 Worlds, I think, right?
Yeah. You said he wrestled Zane?
Yeah, first round 2017 Worlds in Paris.
Did he?
Let me look. I'll look it up.
I'm not positive about that.
2017.
So,
yeah.
Sean, do you want to tell us a little bit about Dave?
Yeah, for sure. Dave's awesome. He's one of my buddies, another one of my buddies. And I got another guy that I really looked up to when I got to Edinboro, who was on his senior year when I got there, and who took me under his wing a little bit and really helped me out from a wrestling standpoint. And just when you want to talk about the epitome of an awesome wrestler and technically an awesome wrestler, I mean, Dave Habit is your guy. I mean, he was an awesome scrambler. He was an awesome leg attacker. He had a ton of tricks. He was solid on top. He was good on bottom. He showed me a lot. He used to drill with me a lot. He'd stay extra with me a lot. I've seen the guy wrestle a ton. He had a lot of heart. Dave was one of those guys that could wrestle for like 2 hours too. They never seemed like he got tired. It was crazy. And, I like Dave a lot, and I'm a really big fan of his wrestling. Just can't say enough about him. Dave was awesome. Yeah.
So he was an NCAA finalist. He ended up losing to Adishelt. And, man, that one irked me because I was definitely pulling for him there.
That match was crazy. Remember the way it ended, too? Remember Dave kind of shot a double and kind of, fell in overtime. Not fell. I mean, Hadishelt got the takedown, but it was weird. He, shot it. Hadishelt kind of moved, and Dave kind of stumbled, and then Hadishelt kind of jumped on him, and it was a weird finish.
Yeah, I do kind of remember that. I remember it being weird. It was kind of a letdown watching it because it was such a great match, and then it kind of ended in a anticlimactic takedown that I remember
exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
and Dave beat Sertzis in the semis to get there, which was an awesome match.
Yeah. Do you remember what the other years? Was he an All-American the other years?
Yep, he was 4th as a junior. He was 4th as a junior. Yep, and 2nd as a senior. And he was a 2-time All-American.
Cool. So on the other side, we got Chris Villalonga from Cornell. This is another we got yelled at on Twitter because we actually ended up we had Hunter Richard in that, or Sam. I'm gonna put it on Sam because they put enough stuff on me.
Yeah. It was,
but Sam had Hunter Richard in the lineup for Cornell, and then we put it out, and almost immediately there was 3, 4, 5 different guys commenting, being like, "Where's Chris Villalonga? Why is he not in here?" He's okay, well, I put on there. I was like, because I hadn't looked into it, I hadn't done the lineup, and I was like, cool, that's definitely something to look into. Can you guys tell me why you're saying that? And they were all like, well, he was an All-American, and the other guy's not. And I was like, okay, well, we got to change that. But
for sure.
Villalonga ended up getting 6th as a senior. WrestleStat is awesome, but unfortunately they had to start somewhere, so their stats don't go back far enough to see his first couple of years.
Right.
But I know he was a 1-time All-American, round of 12 as a junior. And these guys actually did hit head-to-head with Dave taking. So for me, it's going to be Dave Habit here.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I got to take Dave too, and I've seen Chris wrestle. You know, Villanova. I've seen him wrestle a lot. I've seen him wrestle in high school. I've seen him wrestle my buddy Joel Smith. So I know that Chris can wrestle, and he was a stud. But Dave was just too technical.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, honestly, that was a great duel, man. And that was a lot better than I thought it was going to be too. And it's kind of interesting. Most of the matches that we've looked at in this first round, it's been so much fun because, we took these teams and we got these teams and these seeds by their placements over the last 10 years. But then within each team, we got to pick, who we thought was the all-decade team, right?
Right.
And so it's really cool to see this all materialize because, some of them, the matchups before, like literally before this episode started, I actually text Sam and Jude and we had Oklahoma State, Wisconsin. And I said, hey, I know we got Seth coming on, but do we really want to have Seth on? Because Oklahoma State might really whoop up on him,
Yeah,
yeah. And we end up getting done with the duel, and freaking Wisconsin wins it.
It's crazy, right.
So these have been super fun to watch, and like this duel, I looked at this before, and both these are awesome lineups. But I looked at Cornell's, and I was like, dude, this is stacked. And at the end of it, 18-13. I mean, this is an awesome duel again. So
for sure,
all of these duels have been great, and everybody. We can argue that a lot of these matches would go differently. But man, this has been a lot of fun to do. We really appreciate you coming on and telling us, all about all these Edinboro guys and giving us your input and your landmine. We really appreciate it, Sean.
Yeah, man, no problem. I had a blast. Definitely was a lot of fun. Definitely was fun going down memory lane. I mean, I'm a huge wrestling fan, as you guys are. So even from Cornell's lineup, just talking about some of those guys, it's like, oh, man, I remember this match with that guy and this one, and it's cool kind of comparing matchups and comparing matches that, can't happen or would never happen. But, looking at who you really think would win, between a guy who graduated in 2014, the guy graduated in 2010 or whatever, So definitely a lot of fun, man, and I appreciate you guys having me.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
We'll have to get you on another time too. What might be fun is you come on for Minnesota too next time. I'll show you if that works out.
That'd be awesome, man.
Even with that, this tournament's gonna take a little while to get through, but my next project I've been looking forward to working on is, we have all this time with quarantine. So my next project I was thinking is let's put a tournament of all of some of the best dudes to never win it, right?
That'd be awesome.
I think Port might find himself in that tournament. So
absolutely,
we can talk about that later.
In there for sure. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I think we got to sign off. We've been going for a really long time. Been a lot of fun. I could talk for forever. My wife probably hates me, but it's been a great time, man. So from the HMA team, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time.